Some of our favorite things to do every TI is talk with fans.
Ini yang kemarin selamat dari kanker tuh si Kacu kan?
Bukan, si ini satu lagi, Shiver.
Oh iya.
Absolutely. I've been all over the world for Dota, and there's always that group of people that are screaming, the Chinese fans, no matter what, wherever I go. And now it's the entire arena, man. It's fantastic. I can't wait to be here in person.
The arena is packed. You guys excited?
Yes. Excited.
Yeah. 我喜欢上海，上海很美。
上海美。
We're really excited for some good Dota too.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's the best year competitive that we've seen so far. We're going to bring the action, and we're going to talk to real people here on the ground, Casey.
Siapa dulu nih yang tanding ya? Upper bracket dulu.
Casey's legs as ever, a bunch of fun, enjoying themselves.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think that they've got a unique challenge here, trying to make it work amongst the crowd. But already they got the lingo down; they're good to go.
Yeah, Casey is absolutely amazing.
Ambil makan Sabin.
Masih lama ini mulainya.
Bacot dulu ya Bim.
Parah.
Tadi openingnya.
Dari tahun ke tahun ini.
Well, maybe later of the day.
Okay, we should
LGD dulu katanya.
We've got plenty to talk about before we get to our first game
Anjing
of the day.
LGD gua sih.
From the upper bracket. But before we get there, why don't we check in with a
ngebet dah.
group stage at TI.
LGD sih gua nggak mau kalah, mereka belum pernah juara kan LGD.
3 rare.
Belum LGD ya.
Satu imoda gua. Emang sempat.
Dulu itu bukan LGD.
Newbie itu mah.
Dulu IG.
Newbie pernah. Ya kan?
LGD nih feeling gua mah. Kalah mereka balas dendam tahun lalu.
Tapi Ana spektrenya gokil banget ya.
Ana Iyo kemarin nih ngehe banget anjing sumpah. Tai kambing.
Ana. Oh, yang ini game pertama nanti ini LGD sama Virtus Pro.
Iya, LGD Virtus Pro dulu.
Wah. Ana spektrenya nggak jelas anjing, keren banget.
Orang Iyo-nya yang nggak jelas bego Bim. Anjing, kok bisa double fisher gitu?
Anjing, men.
Each group was stacked with the world's finest Dota talent.
Oh, ya war.
Nothing in this world comes without a fight.
Gabby's in trouble. Gabby's shot down. It's
sniper dong.
And he may not be done
Siapa
yet.
yang sniper?
Come out, but it was Lotus on. Nisha's ready to turn. He looks to Cuckoo.
Ini saya, men.
He's not done yet.
Top.
Stepping forward. He's just shooting the ball.
Anjing, ini sama nih. Ini kayak dia mirip si Ramses cuman kayak lebih licin. Mirip Ana juga nih si Niza. Cara mainnya.
Wanyu. Wanyu.
It's a double kill for GH as Liquid are holding.
Another bash off the back of the meld. The duel is out, but it won't be enough. E-Blade Pop trying to actually protect the Legion, but she's already down the Requiem.
Tensi
It's so
jago juga.
far away.
Iya lagi bagus ya si Tims.
That's GG. Infamous are calling it. All the confidence is gone.
Nying ketua.
Veteran players had to find the will to triumph, forging order from
Siapa tadi tuh?
their teams.
Si Ramses ya tadi ya? Rambutnya jadi gitu nih. Gamer tuh rambutnya harus berwarna ya, bingung.
Kayak ninja.
Anjing.
Miracle absolutely destroying them. He's got the maledict on him though. He's going to take a lot of damage here. Old Chicken is just holding his ground. He's life stealing back up as well. But he gets crit. He gets deleted. Miracle. Oh, that damage. Holy moly. He's slow in life. He'll try and hit your Rhinans out of S1 to get the hell out of here. Burrow strike in 1 second, but the mana, it got taken away by the Mystic Snake. They have to pop out. They have to fight. At least he'll be able to get one dive back over.
Lu bracketnya jangan lupa diisi tuh.
Iya, lu predik siapa Bim?
Oje.
Gue nyubi anjing sampai ujung.
Sama
After
Oji.
4 days of grueling battle,
Yang loser bracketnya
has narrowed.
ini.
Nah, tahun sekarang
For
Cina.
those who survived,
Cina.
the ultimate test on the main
Gantian. Kalau newbie kalau katanya bukan Cina sih. Amerika dia kan forward dibeli.
Ya.
Cina berapa orang ya ini ya? 2 ya?
There we go, then that's the group stage.
Dua
We're
doang
going to
jadi sama
a
Royal
little bit more
Forgive.
about it because it was one of the most fascinating group stages we've had, gents. I'm excited every time the first game starts, but I have to tell you, when the first game started in the group stage, it was Alliance banning techies in the first phase bans against Secret, and then Alliance are winning for 20 minutes, dominating, and then Secret come up thinking, what if it's half as good as that game for the rest of the game? I'm happy. It just got better.
You knew it's going to be the greatest group stage ever when you saw the techies ban, the IO being played as a carry, position 4 Invoker. A lot of these heroes are being played in untraditional roles, and this is just the beauty of the Dota.
They're making
Jangan-jangan
traditions
tidur
now out of these
berantakan nih.
heroes. Like, I'm going to see position 4 Invoker in all of my pubs. We're going to see carry IO. We're going to have to get a lot of reports, right? Yeah, no, it's going to be a problem. But I think that it's not just the hero picks.
Ya 10 lah, berangkatin lah.
The comeback from Mega
Ya
Creeps.
10 berangkat ya OGF.
I also like the fact that we've had a lot.
Berangkatin deh.
Debbie kapten.
Wide range of styles.
Bimo carry.
Everything out. Like,
Aduh, anjing.
you've got this kind of crazy. Whoops, okay, didn't play it, didn't whatever. Yeah.
Bimo carry.
We don't care. But then the other teams are kind of like not playing for it. Like Infamous, they've only played 34
Aku
heroes.
tak support aja nih.
Chaos, who played 57 during the group stage. That's crazy.
And as group stage, you know, tends to go on, we start to narrow it a little bit.
Anjing disuruh jadi caster gua. Bentar sarapan dulu boy.
Magic goes on, the Elder Titan, who ended up being the most picked there too, and then all the combinations with him, like the Gyrocopter, all that magic damage and stuff. So we're figuring them out, but that is what's scary, right? Because you still don't know where you could go, and there's so many heroes that still haven't been touched that are TI classics. I mean, the Darkseer hasn't been picked. Keeper of the Light. That guy won Liquid
you know
TI.
why?
Why don't we look? Why don't we take a quick look actually at the heroes
Buat
that we
kopi
have?
dulu nih, mantap. Bentar, Esa dulu.
Because we're prepared here at the International. So let's take a look at the heroes that haven't been played yet, because there are only 7 of them.
Yeah, if you buff
Oh,
Darkseer,
ini belum pernah dimainin anjir.
that's just the way it is.
Rizky, Ursa, Darkseer.
Being the first ban for
Darkseer.
material, and now he gets 25 damage on the vacuum.
That's a good point.
Okay, let me ask you this. Out of those 7, which one is the most likely to still be picked? Which one might get picked?
I would probably say Darkseer simply because of he's Darkseer and the off lane is still a little sketch to me.
Gak jadi gue gak dapet tiket. Habis sama calo anjir
I
tiketnya.
don't know. I'm not sure about that one. I played a lot of Darkseer.
Gak ada tiket ini, gak ada tiket apa stadionnya.
You could pick anything else.
Arenanya gak dapet nih tiket arenanya.
He carried you. I mean, you got like 2,000 MMR by playing.
And then they nerfed him.
And you're going to turn on him like that?
All right, it's going to be Ursa because he owns Darkseer, and it doesn't matter. They're going to be able to pick it up.
Okay. All right. One of the other things I want to bring up, and we're going to show you kind of some notable stats from the group stage. We played 144 games during that group stage, and we averaged nearly 50 kills
Anjing
per
longest game 90 menit.
Anjing. Chaos dong.
That's not quiet.
15 menit anjing shortest gamenya tai banget.
That, ladies and gents, is the horn.
Itu Chaos bubar anjing pulang dia.
Day 1 of the main event.
I'm very.
Sorry,
very
10
I
heroes
don't know if
played.
I'm ready for the hype levels that's bringing out right now.
Could get very hype in our first game of the day. Virtus Pro versus PSG LGD. Like,
I mean, how the thing that's crazy is that this is how TI started before.
VP. Pertandingan sekarang nih.
Nying solo.
No one solo. Nying solo. 344 solo.
Itu pada tua gitu anjing.
Aduh, si Ramses doang yang masih muda mukanya. Tuh. Ninja, main Dota anjing.
Yang gua.
Yang kemarin masalah siapa sih, Bim?
Itu solo.
Solo ya?
Itu 322 solo itu.
Yang kemarin masalah rasis kan ke si siapa? Sep ya?
Oh, bukan.
Iya, anak VP juga kok. Solo deh bener kayaknya.
Wih, sebelumnya kan dia juga ada ulah juga.
Tahu
yang ini
nyari masalah mulu anjing bego VP.
Approach towards TI. They didn't have a great group stage, it has to be said. They are under a lot of pressure after going 8-8 and only qualifying for this upper bracket.
Yang lagi main gini nggak bisa ngerokok bete nih.
Mana gimana, Bray?
Ayo mending nggak ikutan lah anjing.
Si Kiki kan jadi Kiki IED jadi nggak bisa ngerokok nih lagi kayak gini. No udut, no win. Oh ngerti gua kenapa orang Indo nggak menang masuk TI anjir.
Nggak bisa ngerokok.
Mikir lagi dia.
Males nggak bisa ngerokok.
Anjing lawan LGD nih.
Sebatnya di luar mager nggak dikasih asbak.
Chales. Si Ame nggak pernah ngomong anjir.
Jing si FY
ini. Somnus mana dah? Nova. Ini anjing jago nih anjing 4-nya. Nah, ini nih. Kun kaking anjir.
PSG LGD
tuan rumah.
to the arena.
Tuan rumah, bro.
And the chance have already begun.
Dia ambisinya kayak apaan ya? Pengen buat menang ini anjing.
Berapa juta sih sekarang price-nya? 33 ya? Hah?
33 juta.
33 juta dolar. Black. Itu duit lu pada bego, dibegoin lu tuh.
Iya kan support bego apa sih? Lu jangan bikin gua guilty dong.
Katanya jadi budaknya Geben anjing.
Udah game gitu, budak Geben.
Itu yang botak siapa sih anjing? Coachnya ya? Pemanis, Bi. Dari tahun lalu udah mulu, bray itu. Coachnya?
Ini Kang Data gitu dah kayaknya dah.
Oh, jadi ganti jaket, tahun lalu merah dia, sekarang biru.
I have to also say, I think I need to go to Dr. Xeva goosebumps for the past hour. It keeps going.
It's fine. I think if you have got it, it's spread because I've got it as well. I've seen the cost rubbing.
Bangga jadi budak Papa Gaben.
We've got goosebumpitis.
Oh yeah, I mean this is actually
Siapa nih, Bim?
exciting. LGD F1
Apa?
was in
Menang.
grand finals of TI but never won them.
Suka aneh sih ntar ternyata.
Ya emang suka aneh, makanya gue milih newbie juga. Udah 9 kali dulu gue dikibulin anjing.
Miser with not e-home and the LGD International to learn how to actually play Dota.
Yeah, they definitely set the early meta of this game.
I think you should go back, learn a little bit more about Buddy. Just spamming some pudge in the pubs.
Do you know, I was actually thinking, you guys have been fairly civil and
Anjing,
polite.
saya gue bangun diomelin gue.
We're gonna save it for a little bit later, right? Wait till things get a little, when you need it. Yeah. For now, we don't need to do much because the crowd is kind of carrying us here.
Let's talk about these two teams in group stage, Trent. 8-8 for Virtus Pro struggled for the most part and only got through in that final. That one game is effectively a best of one.
Ini sampai LGD kalah malu-maluin sih anjing.
PSG on the other hand.
Justru seru sih kalau kalau kalah pertama.
Sumpah malu-maluin banget anjir kalau kalah.
Gak ketebak aja.
GPM, least deaths on the play. They're up there in the top 2 or 3.
Biar keren kan, biar turun lower bracket.
No, and they started okay, right? I mean, they're coming to this tournament. They won some majors, well, a major. Like, it's Virtus Pro, of course. I'm gonna go for Virtus Pro, right? These are good players. They've had their historic struggles at TI. I mean, we're not gonna lie to you. I mean, that wasn't gonna happen. It was, I think, when they got 0-2'd by Na'Vi. It's like, oh, that's not good. And then suddenly you're down, right? They lost another 2 after that, and then every single draw, you're just treading water. Right, you're not gaining back up there, and it wasn't right till the end, as he said, where they finally just like squeaked their way up, and then everyone's like, "Oh, see, I knew VP would be upper bracket." Who was worried?
But gents, isn't that the mark of a really good team? The one that aren't playing well, haven't quite figured the meta out, but still somehow make the upper bracket.
Well, you need to play good all the time, and I mean, fans were a little bit. Considering whether they're gonna make it or not, but this is not the VP that we're used to. Like we know the full divide, go all in, the aggressive. You lose 1 or 2 heroes, and suddenly you don't have the Raxes, and this is not what we've seen from Virtus Pro.
To your point, though, the thing that I was going to mention is that it felt like they had different ideas when they started compared to when they ended.
Anjing kopi kan katanya. Oh iya bikin kopi tadi.
They're the only team except for one that played Vengeful Spirit. They all lost every single game that they played with it. So if they can just get through on pure skill, it's the type of a team that can come back and really make a run.
Yeah, later on they seem to have moved more towards the PSG playing Ogre and ET straight away, so they kind of figured it out. Virtus Pro have kind of gone that way. Oh, okay, that's the meta. Yeah, we figured it out. So they've got good captain, they've got great players. We know they can come back. But what is it about TI, Trent? Because they don't perform here. They did in
2018. I think for both teams, right, after these performances, when you feel like you're strong teams, you have that question of just like everyone's looking around the room after the game ends, like, all right, guys, what's going on? Are we staying together? What's the plan here? And Virtus Pro, I think, was a team that a lot of people did not think would be staying together, if I had to guess, after last year, right? I would have expected some sort of changes or something, but no.
They changed. Bim bikin acara nobar Bim. Final.
For that sort of a change, the shift.
Di mana?
Nanti gua cari cafe yang mau sponsorin.
And then LGD was kind of the same thing, but it's second place at TI, so that I can more understand, right? We feel like we can make that change, and we can do it. So both these teams coming back again, same guys, but hopefully fresher and stronger.
It's funny actually as well. PSG didn't have the best of seasons. Didn't win a major. Obviously, weren't very competitive. They were fine, but they weren't greatly competitive. Weren't up there with the secrets of this world. And yeah, every time they placed against VP, they had really good games. They actually finished ahead of VP, 5-4 or head-to-head during the regular season.
Yep.
They've got their number. 12 months ago, let's not forget. 2-0
Yep.
Ya.
to send them to the low bracket. So
They
main nih.
definitely know how to play
Enggak,
against,
lagi nonton
Pro.
gua.
I mean, their styles are pretty
Lu habis ngapain, Dep?
Habis buat kopi.
Tahu nggak sih dari tadi main tuh kayak kita menang. Ah, anjing apa coba?
Kalahnya nggak jelas sih. Kurang sabar gitu.
Tahu dibilangin bandel banget sama orang tua. pulang maju.
Kita mainnya sih udah rapi awal-awal. Maksudnya udah ini.
Masih saling ditutup-tutupin lah yang ini apa, yang ini gimana. Cuma masalah sabarnya aja.
Kurang sabar emang.
Pepe.
Nafsu pengen menang gitu sih. Kalau main nikmatin aja sih. Mau lama, mau berapa jam ya. Aku dulu sempet di Hon itu main sampai 1 jam 10 menit gitu. Itu paling lama ya.
Gue 1,5 jam pernah Dep Dota.
1 jam 10 menit. Apa? 100 menit itu main Hon itu.
Anjing.
Hon itu kan cepet kan gameplaynya.
Aduh anjing.
Itu udah sampai ganti-ganti item, udah mikir strategi, udah nggak masalah menang equip udah sama semua, itemnya udah ini semua.
Tinggal strategi gitu ya.
Iya, udah tinggal strategi.
Iya.
Nah makanya kayak Dota ini ya udah kita enjoy aja, maksudnya nikmatin. Waktunya ngedev, nggak usah maksain udah gitu. Mereka blunder dikit kita culik satu, pretend satu, baru nge-push gitu.
Lagi pada ngapain sih nih? Mandi dulu apa? Wah goblok.
Main kan nih?
Tinggal main, nonton dulu aja.
Sambil main.
Itu lagi caster juga kan, belum mulai.
Berapa lama lagi?
Lama ini percaya sama gue.
Mulainya.
Tadi udah pada masuk kandang tuh Bim.
Berapa itu? 33 menit.
Gue mau nonton dulu aja. Berempat juga kita, kurang 1.
18 menit lagi tuh mereka. PSG. LGD.
Yeah, and he did something this year that's
Ini TI udah mau habis ya, ini battle pass ya.
Emang ada tulisannya Bim? Belum kan, masih jalan.
Nggak ada ya? Kayak gue nyesel gitu telat.
Pasti Bim lo masuknya.
Pasti nggak telat banget sih itu. Trofenya baru keluar ini kan.
Trofei yang terakhir sih ini. Gue mau buka nanti, mau gue kasih lagi.
Or these minors throughout the year. Just get here, and then we'll play the real Dota.
I have to disagree with you, Paul, a little bit. I think.
Siapa yang mau trofei Karafe?
Anjing ultra rare-nya monyet. Ngeri gitu anjing, satu set.
Mau yang troll? Emang ada troll aja trofei Karafe?
Di marketnya udah 1,4, bodo amatnya.
Serius 1,4?
Iya.
Dark Asus yang baru itu MK tuh.
And he tended to look good. We should say that. There was 2 minutes for now. Exactly.
Yeah, until Virtus Pro figure him out somewhere. And he's actually just 1 game away, by the way, from 300 career wins with PSG LGD.
Wow.
I mean,
Kesannya kalung Scott.
Itu satu set itu ya?
Iya.
Kalau digabung Arcana gitu, bisa nggak?
Kerenan kepalanya yang ini anjing, kepala naga gitu.
Iya.
Young player. It feels like a lot of people take inspiration from him too, like across all the other scenes. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like whenever, I mean, what is it? LGD Ame fan. That's like the big meme on Reddit, right? That's some insider or whatever. They love him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he comes with the new jungle strats, right? He gets the new item built, and you see the NA pubs guys like, oh, what's Ame doing over there? Oh, okay, I'm gonna try that in my game. For some reason, it doesn't work nearly as well. I don't know what's up with that, but
not quite. Virtus Pro got plenty of cheers though, on the way in. Obviously, been decorating themselves with. I think that's really smart, by the way. I just decided.
Ntar gua balikan dulu.
Appeal to the Chinese fans.
Yo.
Names on the back.
Bray.
And it's paid dividends. So, honestly, the majority of the advantage here for LGD
Yeah, but I think the crowd loves Virtus Pro. They are cheering for good Dota. They want to see LGD winning 2-1 against Virtus Pro because I think everyone wants to see Game 3 here.
Yeah, I would love Game 3 for Fantasy.
There, now you're really
no, I messed up. I didn't do my
fantasy.
Miracle, come on now.
My bad.
Well, whilst he sucks,
Kok bisa nge-ban banyak sih?
3 men that don't suck.
Ya berarti berapa orang? 4.
Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. My name's Tsunami, and I'm joined by 2 men whose streams you've probably fallen asleep to. It's Cinder and Purge. It's a pleasure to be here. We are bringing back the draft panel. It's been a long time coming, but we don't really trust them to talk about the Dota. I trust you two to talk about the Dota. Guys, it's LGD versus VP. These teams always face off at the beginning of TI. How is this fated to be all the time?
Oh, they're both really good.
Yeah, that's
so,
exactly extremely good players. I mean, it's not happening in a bracket, and there's only what 4 options. So yeah,
I like what they mentioned on the panel over there that Virtus Pro had a really slow start, which is kind of unusual, I want to say. They come in really hot and then they get cold when it gets crunch time for main events. This time around, they've had to struggle, which could end up being helpful for them, getting this experience of learning from losses.
Ini mau main
We've
cepet
seen
apa
plenty of
ini,
times
Bi?
in tournaments that teams that start up losing and regain momentum suddenly go really far. OG barely got 4th in groups last year. They end up winning the whole thing. We've had plenty of tournaments with like geniuses with slow starts.
yeah. I think what's important is that the teams that ultimately want to win guys, they do what they think is best. They don't try to follow the meta, and I think VP is a lineup that is doing that, even though they had that rough start. One thing that I thought was really interesting about looking over their past drafts is the one hero that they didn't pick or ban the whole group stage was Ogre Magi, which is mind-blowing considering the fact that almost every other team prioritizes as like the 3rd or 4th best hero, ideally as offlane, sometimes as support. So that's something that could be really interesting going into the draft.
He's been the hero of the tournament, and for Virtus Pro, they seem to be favoring a little bit more of this like Shadow Demon support type thing, as we should see the draft beginning shortly. LGD versus VP, Game 1. It is a best of 3 in this upper bracket. We're going to start taking a look at the heroes.
They're jumping into it pretty quick. No Ogre ban or pick. Enchantress was definitely one of the most important heroes for everybody here. VP ended up banning that in the first stage. In the first 2 picks, we have a Silencer Earthshaker for Virtus Pro, and for LGD, we have a Rubik and a Tide Hunter.
Silencer first phase. What is all this happening?
I love this hero. And I think Solo has a very good
Hunter,
understanding of how to play in lane. Silencer was a hero going into this tournament that I thought teams were in general going to rate higher than they have, but VP was definitely one of the top teams that I would be looking to pick this hero more than others. Simply given the possibility of running it core, which I don't know if we've seen them do, but when you pick it this early, it can even be a flex pick. Silencer has a lot of good matchups in mid. And overall, just this first phase in general for both teams is super team fight heavy. So I think both teams are coming in with this plan that, all right, the way we're going to be playing this first game of the main event will be centered around taking really good team fight executions. And yeah, Silencer breaks that up really nicely.
It'll help a lot against the Rubik and the Tide for sure, because then if you do start an engagement, at least in the first early part of the game, steals, you can make sure that the Ravage comes late or something like that.
Yeah, the potential for the team fight seems to be a very conservative way to enter a high-stakes event like this, because everyone always says, you know, like, oh, your laning phase may not matter, you know, the late game may not matter, it just matters about your initiation and your team fight execution. They've got the initiation set up as well on Virtus Pro with the Earthshaker, a hero that we've been seeing also in a variety of roles. We saw some Miracle Earthshaker in the group stage. Obviously, we saw Tim's crushing it on the Earthshaker. This is a hero that has a lot of flex potential, but is always great at initiation.
Yeah, the other heroes to pay attention to, not necessarily just in this game, but the top 3 supports right now are probably Shadow Demon, Elder Titan, and Ogre is the 3rd most likely. So those all getting banned in the first phase, not too surprising there. LGD using Leshrac a lot in their matches during the group stage. It was a lot of like SD, Leshrac, Elder Titan, Leshrac openings. So they've done their homework.
Something curious about this draft is when you think about the pick order, when we jumped in, we saw the 2 heroes from either side, but the pick order of this game was the first pick Silencer,
correct,
into Tide Rubik, who we're saying Silencer is good against, and then they picked Shaker into Rubik, which is a classic Shaker counter pick because you can steal the fissure. So it kind of feels like both teams have an idea and they don't really care too much about what the other team wants. They're just like, we have our strategy, we know how to play this, you guys can try to counter us, let's see if you can beat our best strategy.
So now that we see the Gyrocopter, you're telling me that VP is going to pick up an IO? You got to keep up in the arms race every single time. We've seen a lot of Gyro have success. In fact, surprising amount of Gyro having success, probably the most popular carry at the group stage, and most of it was without an IO.
Yeah, it's definitely the most surprising carry trend for me, at least, because classically its strength has always been linked to IO, and the IO still seems kind of good. Although in this tournament, not a hero that's been massively banned, so maybe Valve and IceFrog finally pushing it into the right place. But Gyro's strong because he can lane quite well. He does damage just with having levels, essentially. He's got some base damage buffs as well, so he lanes kind of okay. And most importantly, the early rotations. You leave your lane with those extra levels you've been given by your team, and then you make kills happen in other places. So he helps scale and tempo in the early game, and then in the late game, he can itemize pretty effectively to be a hard carry.
An added benefit of this hero is also something I've noticed from LGD. They love picking this hero when they're second pick, because something you're struggling with when you go into the second phase of the draft, the second pick, is that every pick you take, the enemy gets a counter pick. So ideally, you want to, in this phase, grab heroes that can fulfill multiple roles or go to multiple lanes so that the enemy team can't just target heroes at a time and just beat them in lane. And Gyrocopter for LGD, oh, that's the first brew pick of the tournament. Let's go.
Knock down one of the unplayed heroes. Brewmaster has finally been selected.
I'm surprised because when I saw him in the graph, or the chart earlier, I thought, oh, Brewmaster's not terrible.
No.
He's very good at team fighting. That's one of the best benefits. So between Brew Split and Global Silence and Earthshaker, they should have some nice team fight advantage. You can take one guy out of the fight. That could be Cyclonian the Gyrocopter, for example. And then you look at LG's strategy, like, where's your damage? So there's laning potential with the hero. His Axe was changed recently to increase the movement speed of the Brew Splits. There are some options with this hero, and I'm surprised it took this long for him to get grabbed.
Well, Pasha is an accomplished Master player. They just need to barely edge their way into the upper bracket, and they're like, now that we're here, now we can start playing our real heroes.
They actually diversified their drafts a lot more than a lot of other teams. They didn't stick with the same core heroes. They were trying things out. Could be a sign that VP has some plans. They're just trying to feel things out. They know they're a confident team. Wherever they land, they'll do well. And the Ogre does finally make its way.
So just to finish off on the Gyrocopter, as we get a very quick counter pick to the Gyro here with the Morphling. I wouldn't consider Morphling.
Main nonton deh. Si Debbie sambil nonton bangsat anjing.
Nonton ya. Enak kalau jadi support ini.
Lu juga Be sambil nonton.
I'm thinking he's feeling like Gyro on this day.
He's feeling like Gyro on this day. Clear counter pick. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think LGD have mainly played the Gyro mid on Somnus. I think they've played a carry once or twice maybe. And obviously that's a clear advantage here. But one of the great things about Morphling is I talked about how you can't really control this guy in lane necessarily because you don't know which lane he's going to. But regardless of which role he is, Morphling just takes advantage of him being in the game. It doesn't even matter how much farm Gyro has. As long as he has the levels so you can turn into him and get the flak cannon, you can do massive teamfight damage.
And what we're expecting to see as well is that he'll be Gyro early mid-game, and by the time he builds an Aghanim Scepter, then he's going to turn into the Earthshaker. We saw tons of teams abuse this. It is really strong if you get to a decent mid-game.
Yep. Something that's kind of a luxury on some heroes, such as Morphling, is when you have multiple options. It's always nice to have these heroes that you go into a situation and depending on what is going on, you can choose which way you want to go. It's also one of Invoker's conceptual strengths as a hero, which we haven't seen too much this tournament, but Invoker's ability to just, you know, okay, this is this type of fight, so now I'm going to use these spells. This is this type of fight, I'm going to use these spells. And that's kind of what Morphling can do here, right? Is this a Shaker fight? Is it a Gyro fight? If we get the jump, perhaps even when you have Ags, there will be fights that maybe the Flak Cannon is more valuable. And yeah, we're going to have to see what type of fights VP get themselves into.
Maybe even a Brewmaster, potentially. The third passive Brawler is really effective for giving you a lot of crit damage. So in short periods of team fight, you could jump in, slow the whole team. Even the second skill, I think, is generally pretty underrated. I can't remember the name of it. The one that gives essentially like mischance, kind of like reverse blade.
Drunken Haze, Brawlers when you're punching people.
Ada masalah itu bertiga.
That skill can also be pretty effective depending on.
Isn't it called Cinder Brew?
Cinder Brew, that's the one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I would know.
Udah menang ini.
Closest to your name.
To destroy.
Ask me Shadow Demon Sons. Go ahead. Release Poison. I knew you were going to ask that one.
Ember harusnya.
Release Poison.
VP obviously looking extremely reliant on their team fight, being able to bring in the silencer means that, like you said, they have the luxury of choosing which of the heroes on the field he chooses to turn into. Obviously, we're assuming that he's going to get an Aghanim Scepter fairly on. I can't see any reason why not to. The Earthshaker is just too good potential of a morph target.
It's super strong. However, one weakness of VP's lineup, we've been talking a lot about the strengths of how good teamfight they have. They are at a massive cooldown burden. If they take a team fight and it doesn't go well, they flat out just hit a weak
Ember
point for
sini.
2
Oh,
minutes when they
Dazzle
don't have
anjir.
global silence, when they don't have
LGD
Echo's
siapa
line,
ya?
when they don't have Primal Split. Whereas LGD's lineup, sure, you've got the long Tidehunter, but the rest
Ya
of
kan
it
itu, itu separti loh itu, bukan ya?
really high impact damage.
Oh enggak sih, sama
And
sadar
VP are
itu.
going to try to alleviate this a bit by getting some sustain in the Dazzle.
Well, what if I gave you a hero that had inherent cooldown reduction with the Dazzle? How does that sound?
Doesn't give it to his teammates though.
No, not quite.
Also
Well, let's pick up a
Sven,
Sven.
gearnya
Sven,
tengah.
a bit interesting, very
Rubiknya tengah.
survivable. I think he's going to be able to just tank a lot of the magic damage, the
Somos
AoE
pakai
damage
apaan, anjir?
that Morphling's putting out, so maybe he'll be able to sustain against like Bruce Blood and things like that.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of rock, paper, scissors going on here, but it's not up to us anymore. I just want to introduce one man, the myth, the promo code. It's BSJ.
Thank you, Neil. I feel like this entire draft was basically each team one-upping each other in the team fight department. And what I see with this first time picking Brew in the entire main event is that they see a combo breaker in the Tidehunter. They have this hard initiation with the Silencer Earthshaker, but if they go on the Tidehunter and he Kraken shells off the global and gets that Ravage off, suddenly everything they want to do in the team fight, the burst with the Morphling Flat Cannon as well as potentially the Ags Earthshaker, is just going to backfire in terms of they are just going to turn the entire fight with the Tidehunter Ravage. So I think this game, I really like the VP draft as it scales into the late game with the Morphling, but the Sven is just much higher paced, and I think that with the Gyrocopter low cooldown in the aggressive mid game, they'll be able to force the issue at a pace that the Morphling won't be able to keep up with. And for no one else to better show us the game, Odie, Pixel, and Fog, take us away.
Thank you very much, Brian. And ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The first series we're going to be showing here on the main stage of TI9 live from Shanghai. I'm Odie Pixel here at Fog. As Brian said, it really was sort of a one-up of each other with this draft. It was. But I really feel like the biggest one-up of them all was that morph. There was no hesitation there from VP. Yeah. They saw that gyro. They were picking that morph straight away.
Especially when you have the rest of the setups, right? Just like they were mentioning, it's not just that gyrocopter. They have their own backups too with that Earthshaker.
Ya begitulah anak-anak.
Who is the first pick? And also, let's just be really happy here that we're on the first game of the main stage, and we got FY Rubik. We got FY Rubik.
We do.
And I love when we see like Rubik and Morphling versus each other. It's not like spell steals, but Morphling kind of has that little like spell steal factor with him as well, right? So we could see like 3 fissures inside of fights. That's coming out into play. So
we may lose track of whose spell is whose. They're going to be thrown out everywhere. The opening to this draft, it felt very sort of old school, right? We're getting like this Rubik Tide on one side, this silencer being thrown in by VP, something that we saw back in the Epicenter Major and have a lot of success with. I'm bringing something new, as mentioned on the draft panel, the Brewmaster. Not a hero we've seen yet at this TI. VP, as always, the team that you can expect to do this, they're breaking in with something a little bit different.
Yeah, I agree. Combo. They see the Tidehunter picked up early. They're like, Brewmaster, traditionally not thinking much, but versus that Tide, you don't know so much about it. You're probably just going to be searching for him in the fights, just to throw him up in the air with that Cyclone of Wind Panda. So I think the other thing they also went for is, what I was talking to teams about, why Brewmaster wasn't really getting picked so much, is because his laning phase is pretty bad right now. Is what they all were inconsistent.
Itu salah satu cara untuk cepat pulang.
Skip that because you're going to fissure block the wave constantly. You're going to set up posture to have a much better time. So we'll see if that does play off for VP as matching the LGD aggression. We've seen these gyrocopters just pop off.
Yo, angkat yo.
This is a gyrocopter though that is going to have to start in the mid-lane. It's going to be against that VP speciality that they brought out at some of the previous DPC events.
Probably pretty good lane for the Dazzle, I'd imagine. Just being able to constantly poke, you have the heal to push the wave in as well, so it can be hard for you to actually secure anything as a gyro because of that here. But they're already going to start with those missiles, of course, trying to secure those range creeps. He's going to be able to get this one. It's denied.
That was really nicely done by Noah. Getting the heal off before the missile connected, so he knew that he would have that time on the range creep to get the deny.
Very nicely played there. As they had FY sitting mid trying to snipe a courier, so I think that's one of the telltale things is when they're like, ooh, the matchup might be a little bit difficult for us in the mid lane, so let's try to give you a little bit of an advantage there. Isn't able to get it. He's going to go top. Try to help out Chalice. This is what I like to call the damage reduction lane. Rubik and the Tidehunter. Your Fable, your Anchor Smash on the carry. It's very tough for you to get those last hits.
On the plus side, at least it's a double range lane. Yes. So Ramsey's, obviously the Fade Bolt, he can't do much about getting hit by, but the Anchor Smash, you can try and sort of play it around
and eventually he's going to have those spells to be able to nuke the creeps as well.
Yeah, and he still has a silencer backing him up. One of the stronger support heroes, at least zoning these type of heroes out. Tidehunter, doesn't matter if you have Kraken Shell, because you're just going to be taking those pure damage from those glaives. So
Got Roger looking for some action towards the mid. It was sort of spotted out by the ward. Still though, Somna's taking a lot of damage from this move. Will be able to stay alive and get himself back behind the tower, but they've got to be prepared for this these sort of rotations, LGD.
Kan ada grave dia.
He's getting pressure a lot, only the 2 or 3 last hits right now on the gyrocopter. Versus no one. As we kind of felt it would be, right? That dazzle pick, that's why they wanted to have it versus this mid lane.
Ramsas musuhnya TH Morphle itu kecil tekrensnya nggak jauh.
Such a strong lane. They have the offensive potential with a poison touch, and these heals, as you've seen, if you're not used to it, even if you are, even if you're at the top of your game, these heals will throw you off getting those range CS.
Ini Brumas Rara di pick juga dia masih Pasha.
Pasha, we see he's starting to struggle, of course, because Roger's making those moves around the map. So he's just going to look to pull some creep waves, get chased out by X-Nova quite a bit here, as this Ogre who's just going to punch him. But full free farm, importantly for Ame. That's the one we're looking at. The Sven is getting no pressure on him whatsoever.
Mati solo, mati.
He'll set up for first blood.
Bagus banget itu si FY posisinya. Goblok.
It's an FY Rubik. It's game 1 of the main stage. He wants the first blood.
Could be the beginning of a bit of an FY highlight reel, depending on how this game goes. Definitely the fact that Sven is starting well, as you say. This is what BSJ talked about. He was worried about LGD. If they can get that Gyro and Sven off to a good start, it's going to be very tough for VP to sort of hold the game off to the point where Morph is able to come to the fights and really utilize the flak without being run over.
Ooh, look at FY doubling up the wave there nicely for Chalice, making Ramsey's also farm under the tower as well. Nice moves around here by FY, just building those up.
Bangsat diputerin anjing creepnya.
Obviously, what the VP do, they can start to walk solo over, but FY,
he's got a TP available.
He can, I mean, she's
dead.
Dia ngapain dah? Si FY ngapain anjing ini?
Hah? Solo, he's going to be around for the XP on that one.
Didn't get the in.
What was the plan there from FY? He's just trying to double stack the creep so they push into...
Strategi baru
I think he wants Chalice to be diving under Ramsey just like this, putting the pressure on him, not letting him to just free farm under the tower. Obviously, not wanting to die there, but it's not the biggest loss. Sure, Solo gets some gold there for himself, but you see Chalice is getting having a great time, and look at that. Look at this wave. That's a triple range creep coming in now. So that's
Pantesan dia spokat dulu tadi, gue bingung kok beli sepatu
They should
dulu.
take advantage of this though. I think you want to maybe rotate Roger up top, and you try to set up here for try to like push. Do not let this Tidehunter get that creep wave off the tower. Look at this. This is really gonna. Chalice. He has the skill of Gush, but he has the skill point of Gush, but no mana just yet. And Roger is making
he's got that arcane range, so it's likely that he's going to get the chance to get a couple of fishes out.
Oh, si Tad tinggal skill 3 anjing kalau udah numpuk itu. Aduh, Roger masuk bos. Roger masuk bos.
Rogernya berubah jadi serigala nggak?
Anjing lagi bisa hidup sih. Ramtes.
PSG LGD will be able to keep Chalice safe with the support rotation. They're still trying
to mati nggak nih si Chalice? Mati. Kena racun.
Will still end up going down. Now VP turning their attention over towards X-Nova. They're going to try and chase for another. The fade ball from FY will come out.
There's just too many creeps. They clipped the wave under the tower too, so they just continue diving forward.
Yeah, those stacked up, working against PSG LGD there in that sense. And in fact, VP, they're still poking and they're still fighting. PSG LGD is trying to come back in for the room contest, but VP's already picked it up. Be able to grab that one in the top one. Meanwhile, down bottom, Ame does continue to get all the space in the world, enough space himself to head over and grab those two.
Ini protnya dukung LGD anjir.
He's going to be the full free farm. The other one, though, if you look at the mid lane, look at that dazzle. 31 and 10 to the 18-3.
Nyanyi lagu apa mereka ya?
Done a great job in this matchup here. They're even trying to fix this right now with a gank setup, but there's not level 6 yet on that gyrocopter, so no cooldown available. TP is at the ready. Roger's already prepared for this. He's actually smoking himself alone to try to catch something here, and he breaks this.
He sees the entire movement, sees the two supports in the river as the smoke breaks. No one is going to be very, very safe and sound. They cannot get that surprise movement onto it.
Alah, begitu amat, menangnya gini amat ya.
Be careful not to step up too far. More hits in the start, and he probably can go down here. Pod.
Boom!
Pasha getting a little shaky on the main stage. We saw some of those deaths from Pasha in the group stage.
Yeah.
I'm sure the team would have hoped that it sort of left
Siapa
those
bisa
behind,
solo kill offline
he
gitu
did get the
sendiri?
drunken brawler off before the attack, so it was like a 50-50 chance, but
yeah,
still
but you shouldn't play for that sort of RNG. That's not good odds.
Kita foto itu, Bim.
Managed to get the courier here.
Oh, level berapa gitu ya?
Taking that one down from LGD and getting that gold bonus.
They were actually able to finish. I saw Roger chasing it with illusions, but wow, he was actually good to chase it and finish it. That's a bit surprising there, LGD getting caught off guard. Still farming very well, as we were saying.
Especially with that kill. This Sven lane.
Ini VP kaptennya siapa sih, Dit?
Better to better.
Yeah, how's their stacks looking? Looks like they're
Solo ya?
Prepare them with both FY and Xnova.
Solo ya?
For the and the gyro,
Solo
can benefit a lot from that, as we probably expect Somnus though to be the one who's going to be running around more so as this gyro.
Yang di depan-depan itu tadi tuh.
Ame's off to such a great start, and immediately starts pressuring Pasha as well.
And Pasha really does have to be careful.
He's doing pretty well though. Like the shared gold, it's not the greatest, but he's
Masa
kind
Ramses
of tied with the
kaptennya?
gyrocopter.
Carry
And
Ramses
his counters are pretty decent, but almost a level 6 Brewmaster. So in this game, the Brew has a lot of different things he can do. Has to be careful of some steals later on from the Rubik. You cover it pretty easily with the Brawler, but he can dispel the Bloodlust, he can dispel the Warcry, throwing up that Tidehunter as we talked about as well. Going to be very important for that.
Serius, udah ganti Ramses kaptennya sekarang.
Ramses tuh.
That's Pasha.
Ganti-ganti ya.
He's making an invasive play here. Not quite level 6, pretty close to it as well.
Oh anjir, kalau iya.
He's gonna get surrounded.
Oh, dia dapat gelar kapten termuda, dia masih kecil lagi dia kan. Bisa pindah ke Ramses gitu ya?
Wah anjing sombong. Wah anjing sombong.
Shed of course in the grave, fully offensive. No one with a skill build at the moment.
Masih deklarasi 2000 kalau nggak salah.
Which we also seem to expect pretty much every single time on the core dazzles. The one thing is though, they do have great ways to farm that book. So I think no one does have to be careful when he is like pushing out waves and farming with these, because Gyrocopter and Sven, they eat that book very easily whenever it is going to be used if it's not inside of just a farming position in the jungle. Solo is spotted on his warding expedition. He's looking in some trouble.
He's got a lot of backup coming in as well, mate. They should be able to slow this one down. Missiles out. Fisher block.
Very nicely done.
Will actually shut the play down. They won't be able to chase.
Dikasih solo anjir.
And this is them all bringing the attention away from Ramses. He's able to just get all these free last hits top now, landing alone versus Chalice. Just keeps turning into the Tidehunter, throwing some gushes and anchor smashes onto him, then switches back to his form. As LGD, they're playing the farm game. You can just tell from the way they're setting up for all this.
Besok jagoan gua
Getting all these
mainnya.
stacks prepared. And now they'll give FY the lane, as Almay will just jungle it up. Next Nova will sap that experience. And it looks like VP, they want to get on the aggressive side here. They want to make the move bottom. They see that the Rubik is farming the lane, so they're like, all right, Sven's jungling, we have to put pressure on. Don't let this Rubik just keep fade bolting the way.
Gelo sakit anjing.
So this looks like they're going to just surround and go for this tier 1, as we expect that LGD will probably do the same on the other side of the map, probably going for the mid tower or that top. This will be the mid. So a little bit of mirror movements coming into play here from both sides.
We'll see who's able to start the fight first as Arme. Close to no one starts to poke. Roger will get the red man. They've been blocked up, kept on the high ground. There's the old Pasha. They're ready to run them down. They're straight away on top of the gyrocopter. Somnus, he's in trouble. They've taken him out. The rest of LGD will be able to get away, but again, Roger blocking off the entire team with that Fisher. They're even going to be able to look to chase Arme a little bit, but the split will end. They won't push it any further. Still though, great defense from VP.
Yep, bringing Pasha there. Roger, again, being in the right place at the right time. So far, Roger on point with his Earthshaker rotations in this start, these first 10 minutes. Only level 3, as he's been forced to move around a lot, but he's got the tome. He'll be able to catch back up soon. And looks like they're giving Somnus the tome in this one. Maybe will be the one taking it from his team. He probably just feels like he got set back a little bit too much versus that Dazzle. Sure, they don't have their Rubik level 6, but he'll probably be able to buy the other tome soon.
Belum jadi nih Ramsesnya nih.
A good start in that early game. Probably because they want to be able to farm. Like Tidehunter, not really that one who can run around and make plays too much early on. Sure, you have Ravage, but your Gyro is that main driving force of your aggression on the LGD side until the later stages.
Sure. And even though his farm might not be great, as long as he can have Arme in the front and he's able to get out all his spells, the magical output of the Gyro at this point is still something that BP have to be very wary of.
Besok nobarnya gua adain giveaway sekalian deh.
They can get past Arme and get on top of Somnus. He is still vulnerable at the moment.
Buat trofei aja, biar gue giveaway-nya nih lewat nobar aja.
Top lane, space is there, they'll take a tower.
Untung di sana ya, cuma beda sejam sama kita.
As he hits 6k net worth at 11 minutes in.
Dulu anjing gue nonton TI.
Ramsey's still going to be going for that Linken's first item. Probably the Linken's is the in this game, as the panel was mentioning. Such a good Ags game, as he has that Earthshaker on his team. But the Linken's very good versus those instant disables, in particular the Roger.
And he's going with the wraparound on to mid, looking for FY. FY has got the heal stolen.
But the poison and the Arcane Curse, he's ticking away. Goodbye.
They got it. A lot of damage over time, as you say. Those two spells, a bit of a nightmare. For FY, at least the Ogre won't care too much. He's a little tankier, but
enggak, kalau Dota di YouTube doang, kalau di Streamcraft nggak boleh gue. Malam paling pesona di Streamcraft. Gue belum makan ini nyantai.
And again, Roger, he keeps blocking LGD off. They keep coming over to VP's half of the map and they can't get back to their own. X-Nova's
jago dari si Roger anjir
can he get away though with the telekinesis from FY, dragging him back into the missile combo.
Nggak mati dong bangsat.
LGD cannot get the trade kill as Arme tries to move forward, but all the damage over time is a pretty sizable heal.
Si Ramses jadi Giro. Mantap. Menang deh. Nggak, anjing udah jadi dia. Wah, rata anjing LGD. Jadi loh si Ramses. Masih level 9 modal. Goblok.
Such beautiful rotation. I mean, Roger is just coming in so clutch for his team. That wraparound again, he even gets put in the front lines and he survives during all that. They don't have the damage because of that. Because of how underfarmed the gyro is. Look at Maybe in the game. He's bottom 5 net worth. They don't have the damage for when he's in there.
And that's the second time that LGD's fallen for it. They're sending 3 heroes over the river.
Si Ramses ngotok-ngotoknya jago banget gitu. Tuh kan.
Such beautiful plays.
Giro dia.
Like we said, too tanky from to even go on. Ramses turns
Split
into the
dulu
Morphling there, or turns into the Gyrocopter. Sure, they get double stunned, but at this moment in time, it's way too strong.
It's a bad call from LGD to try and stick around for the fight. They feel confident because they have the
Rampage.
But at that point, Arme's already dead. There's no way for them to follow it up.
He's not ready to fight just yet. I mean, he's got the Phase, he's got the Midas, he pretty much has the Echo Saber now finished, but there's a lot of ways to control him.
That game memang es nyolot ya.
This early game aggression coming from this Dazzle, from this Brewmaster.
Nah, ini si Ramsesnya juga bagus banget positioningnya dari tadi.
I mean, if LGD want to fight, they've got to do it when they know there's no split. They know there's no global. This is that little bit of an opportunity, but it is hard because Chalice chose to try and commit to that last fight with
kalau Eropa yang menang, iyalah.
And we saw too, right? Like right when
bukan tuan rumah ini udah isinya udah hampir Cina semua kebanyakan ini nonton.
Even though in that instance,
mau beli tiket juga nggak dapet
kemarin. Yeah, just to see what the plan is, why they wanted that silencer.
Still, the network very close due to the fact that Arme, even though it was taken out, was able to get back onto the map, and with that Midas and his Echo Saber,
menang Bim.
Keep that farm pace up very high. The gap is being closed between himself and Nolan and Ramses. It's both the Morph and Dazzle race to get on par with the Sven's farm, and if VP are able to start to gear up and push around this Dazzle and his Necro book, getting those towers, that net worth will swing even further in VP's favor.
I mean, the Necro won, and then he's just going, he's already queued up the mech. He's going straight for mech, trying to deal with all that damage that can be coming out from LGD. They're going to be able to counteract a lot of it. Not just that, they're going to get a couple of timings together.
The
Blink Dagger from Roger is only 600 gold away. And if we look at the initiation from LGD, it's kind of limited until they get that Blink Dagger either on the Sven or on the Tidehunter, which they both do have queued up. It will take them some time. So Roger could come in really clutch if he's able to get that one at an early
pace. Padahal lebih tajir tuh daripada si siapa? Ramses.
Very close to that blink. They're already
tapi dia adu hit
kali. Split is available again.
Now LGD just avoiding VP entirely for now. See if they do anything about this tier 2 tower push.
Nanti dah ya, gua lagi malas nih, lagi pengen nonton doang. Lagi makan gua nggak bisa pencet-pencet.
VP doing a lot of damage to this tier 2. LGD will start to get close to the tier 2 top. Maybe think about looking for a trade, but it's not going to be easy. Bottom lane Pasha trying for the wraparound. X-Nova's already out of there, but the tower goes down. For the 16-minute mark, VP continuing to keep the pressure up.
Xnova.
They want to try and dive this. They're going to. Ramses goes straight forward up to the high ground. Xnova's dead. Killing spree for Ramses. TPs will start to now come through from PSG LGD, but VP are able to easily back off, get themselves out of there.
They got what they wanted. They got to get an extra kill out of it. They got too. Not looking to want to fight until I believe they have those blanks. I think they need some easier ways to set up the fights. So just instantly kill someone on the side of VP. VP, when they're all rallied together, they're just seeming way too strong right now. And now the Blink Dagger is already finished up for Roger. I believe it's coming out on that courier.
And it's just the way that VP is playing. I don't blame sort of Brian in the analysis at the start. You know, you look at these lineups, so you think, well, the Gyros, they're going to be able to play the fastest. He's going to need time, but Ramses is actually able to get really active across the map because they have this mid-dazzle. No one's just this force that enables the morph so early on. It doesn't matter if Ramses is committing, getting low on the HP, because there will be that burst heal and time for him to shift back. He can play so aggressive, and he's catching them off a little bit. Now down bottom.
They don't have enough.
Split's going to be out. They're going to look towards Arme. They're going to surround him. Another heal bomb for no one, bringing Arme down low. Pop the war cry.
They left him.
He's been abandoned. They've abandoned him. I know that there's no hope for Arme. As VP making moves there with just the two of them, taking down Arme, the most farmed hero, of course, on LGD's lineup. He just gets shredded by these heroes.
Yep. Pasha in this game, just be able to get how much he got down bottom because of the fissure blocks and everything from Roger. I'm going to be giving Roger a lot of that credit there for that the setup that's going on for the Brew. He's able to do so much, and now we're wondering, why is Brew not being picked a little bit more? You see how powerful it is whenever he has the ulti up.
Apart from that one death in the lane, but hey, you know, it's the first time the hero's been picked as TI. It takes a bit of warming up.
Sure. I mean, he still got so much done, and with the combo,
he's in the zone now.
With the dazzle, it's seeming really powerful, really potent. How much aggression they can really start over the early game and just allow Ramses to pretty much do whatever he wants. As Ramses, he's gone greedy. He actually had the gold for the Lincolns, and he's like, find the point booster. I'm getting set up. I'm getting ready for my Aghanim's. You know, I'm just starting to prep that. Because I know what we're going to get to in this point, as we see that Dota Plus win probability already highly favoring VP. But LGD, they've got their timing now. They've got the blink on Chalice.
They do.
Are they going to define anything?
But at the same time, there's also the potential of the global silence. They'll find Solo, so there won't be a global. Or maybe there will. He's actually still alive because of the fact that Roger's able to throw himself in. Global's out. Roger keeping Solo safe. The heals are there. Chalice will now put the damage on Ramses, who will get the morph kill. It's a big one for LGD, but can they find any more? They'll start to move across to no one with the gush. Another curse thrown out by Solo onto both Xnova and Chalice. They're trying to chase for more here, LGD.
They know there's no Brew split. That's the one thing. They're playing around that long cooldown timing. Trying to dive.
Pressure on. Looks like he may be a little too deep for them to continue to dive.
Ramses, he actually clicked the Shrine, but he didn't click his attribute shift. So he just gets caught by the stun and dies. If he gets the shift off, he might be all right just there.
Chalice making quite a beat down here from VP.
He's got the constant dispels though.
Roger! He finds Roger! Roger was trying to sit at the backlines in the river, looking for a potential to get him with the Blink Echo, but Arme finds him.
And how quickly the tides have turned.
Oh yeah, with Ramses falling like that, and Arme and Somnus getting involved in these big kills. The slight goal difference swings back in LGD's favor.
Now you have to be wondering how painful that point booster pickup by Ramses was instead of having a Lincolns in the fight. He would have had it finished. He had the gold when he went to go purchase it. If it gets punished for his greed. As not only just that gold lead swing, you see the experience. It was 2K in advantage for VP. It swings heavily up towards LGD.
Let's see how the gold swings here around these runes. Bounty rune wise, LGD, they've got heroes set up, down, bottom. They're going to be able to get the majority of them. Oh no, wait, it's 2 for 2. 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Pasha was able to get
the bottles sometimes confuse things. But they have their burst
it was 3 for 1, right? Yeah, it was 3 for 1.
3 for 1, you're right.
Yeah, the bottle confused
I saw
you. Yeah, confused me as well. Maybe question myself, but yeah, they did. They
Hilang.
Dia nggak ganti roster LGD
They have their Brew split. They know that LGD does not have their Tidehunter Ravage or that God Strength actually.
How long? Yeah, it's still a bit of time to God Strength.
Yeah.
And they still try and push VP out of the pit.
CP juga
the area.
If they could time it right and get him with the stuns.
There's 15 seconds without God Strength, but they have BKB on
Jadi kayak Liquid zaman dulu,
jump to get the vision, stun out to Ramses. Now the Primal Split comes out from VP and Now it becomes a lot harder for LGD to get close to the pit as Pasha will be able to hold the team away and get that space for Roshan to fall and Aegis to be claimed by Ramses.
They might look for a fight anyway, though, on LGD, because they know that there's no split available. Chalice is committing forward. They're going to have Ravage. They're going to have God Strength and BKB on the Sven. They want somebody here.
They are committing far. You have to be a little wary of Roger having the Echo Slam available, but Somnus is ready to go in underneath the tower. Stuns out from Arme, there's the God Strength and Shallow Free, keeping Roger alive. They'll try and get rid of the Ravage. It's a 5-man Ravage. Jumps in. Echo Slam's out, but he does nothing at all. The BKB's out from Arme. He'll turn over towards Noah. The stun control from X-Nova isn't enough. Noah finally uses. They've got the damage. LGD, they get both.
Itu Dazzle
As Chalice sees the perfect opportunity. He's not even done yet. Jumps in for another anchor smash. Keeps the pressure on VP as they're pushed back away from the tier 2 tower. And despite getting a Roche, getting the Aegis, they lose the following fight and they'll lose more map control.
It's the little things, right? Chalice just blinking into the pit there initially, giving vision, causing Pasha to kind of be like, oh my god, I actually need to split for this situation. Allows them then afterwards, they know they have the way advantageous team fight versus VP when they don't have split available. Chalice with no fear. He's playing versus that lineup where he's like, they don't really have ways to burst me down as a tight owner in this game. With this hood available, he can just freely jump in like that. And yeah, like you said, the beautiful 5-man Ravages we're going to see again here.
I mean, it looked like maybe they'll lose a couple, but indeed, Chalice in the perfect position, even tickling Solo on the edge there. Every single member of VP caught out by that play.
And Pasha, you can tell he was like, I'm not liking this fight too much. He was even starting to TP out. Someone made the call though to try to keep it going, and they ended up losing a couple heroes there.
Doesn't get more perfect than that for this side enter. 5K lead off the back of those plays. Roshan gone wrong, but not in the traditional sense. Where VP still managing to be the ones getting the Aegis, it did not matter.
Still gonna have, now we're gonna have Bruce Split available again, so like we're seeing, it's gonna be back and forth whenever these long cooldowns are off. For VP, them looking to bring the fight. They're pretty close to that Aghanims on the morph too, so he will also be pretty scary when he gets that. As we see that shift at the 18-minute mark, a 70% chance for that Dota Plus for VP. Now all the way to that 50-50.
Roche is not always the answer.
No!
So LGD making that play. You always see, only sort of the top of the top teams would make that.
Yeah,
to go in aggressive after the other team gets ready. We've got to reset. They're keeping the pressure on, and LGD, they're straight back in, looking for the next fight already.
Going for the big wraparound, but the scan comes out from VP. They think they even got a slight vision of Ame there for a second there when they were trying to get the wrap. So you see LGD, they're trying to get the wraparound, get the back lines. Even though they're playing into the Brew Split there, they're looking for the Earthshaker. They're looking for that Brewmaster. They're trying to catch it.
Just every time that Ravage is back up, they're instantly looking for action. No slowdown in play from PSG LGD, and this is starting to be the tempo that the draft panel talked about. This is what you expect from this lineup. Gyro, Rubik, and Sven ready to fight more than ever at this 24-minute mark.
And double BKBs at the ready, so they're feeling a lot more careful versus this VP side. VP just, I think with this Aegis, this is like the farming Aegis. Just get the Aghanims on that Morphling so they can start hopping around as that Earthshaker inside of the fights, getting into the back lines, onto those supports. But LGD, they're staying in unison. Every single one of them playing around each other, all grouped up and out down bottom as 5. Got about 1 minute and 10 seconds left on that Aegis. As LGD, they want these bounties.
VP want to try and force this fight here. They know the LGD's got the numbers, but
Anjing mau kalah gitu kenapa sih bocahnya? Begitu ketahuan menangnya begini nggak tau malu.
Chalice is able to get in and claim the bounty route.
You have to back away though, Pasha. That's a fully defensive split. He can't stay there. That's the other thing too, is the Brewmaster. We're talking about like sometimes, yeah, we haven't seen it in a while. Versus Gyro and Sven, sure, you can dispel some stuff, but your Brewlings die very quickly to the combo of the Flak plus that cleave coming out from Sven.
And Roger's got to be careful. We're seeing a couple of times where he's the one getting jumped on the front lines. They need that Shaker to jump and go. Without the Shaker, there isn't that instant lockdown. There isn't that initiation really from VP's lineup. They have to make sure that Roger's able to get his spells off.
They're really starting to hemorrhage just a bit too much here, as it's that 7K advantage. And LGD, they're getting all these bounty runes too.
All they are. It's that
There's still one chilling up top.
Climbing.
It's 3 bounty runes for them. The 4th one is still waiting there, so able to keep increasing that lead, and the Aegis will get reclaimed. But I believe that Ags Morphling is online. We'll see what VP is going to be able to make of it.
Let's see if this is what they're missing. The last few fights have been disastrous for VP.
It still feels like too. Like they've got this Ags on the Morphling, which is fantastic, but there's just so much magical damage and control that's really coming out from LGD's side. Fear of what a Rubik really can provide, even though FY hasn't been having like the greatest steals or anything like that, just getting the instant lifts or breaking some Lincolns.
I mean, what are the big steals that FY's looking out for?
Fissure.
Fissure.
Yeah, Fissure's probably the biggest one. Bruce Split, of course, but you're not likely to get down versus Drunken Brawler unless you immediately get the lift up as soon as he gets out, which you can do, but
and by that time the fight's probably over. Maybe it helps you chase for the cleanup kills.
Yeah, I would
turn a bad fight even worse for VP. With that chase potential.
Still grouped up though, VP now. Shows his face.
He is out on his own. He's gonna go into the trees. We'll go for the TP. Roger.
He's just gonna get stunned up.
He's trapped in there, but VP a little scared. They're aware that there could definitely be quick reactions. PSG are starting to come over, but Arme was still relatively alone. VP just didn't know. They didn't want to make the mistakes they made earlier and try and force a fight straight up. Now they'll go back with the smoke.
They didn't have any information.
They've drawn the attention. A Solo, he'll head up to the high ground, blink over from Chalice, catches the vision of Solo. Solo, gonna be focused first. Fisher comes out. Trying to keep Solo safe. They've got to make sure that both Solo and Roger get the chance to get their ults out. They'll commit towards Chalice. Chalice has the Ravage, ready to pop. He's holding on to it for now. Ramses into the Shaker he goes, chases down X-Nova. They're pushing PSG back up to the high ground, but it's still hard for VP to find the jump that they hope for. As PSG, they know exactly what's waiting for them on the low ground.
Yeah, and the Ags Morphling, you know, it's strong because Ramses is really high level, but you also want your Earthshaker to be high level. You need him to have that max enchant totem for it to really become that super powerhouse. So only 2 points still for Roger, only level 11. He needs to find himself some level so that they can actually start using that power of the enchant totem.
They know themselves. VP, they're still not quite ready to take the full 5v5. It's not easy.
Ooh, and look at Ame's pickup here. A little bit, not really super unorthodox, but the Orchid now for that Sven as well. Multiple different ways to catch Ramses. Yep. Ramses gonna be in trouble. Not only just Ramses, Pasha as well. Brewmaster hates playing versus silences.
FY, nice little escape back to base. He's got the stick charges and the heals. He's been buying a very far on the way to make sure that he's not going to get burst.
He's like, I died to that damage over time before, not again.
He knows how much it hurts. But absolutely, you say with that Orchid, there's still a bit of time where Ramses hasn't got that BKB.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure he's got it ready as soon as they'll see that Orchid's out.
A lot of different targets they can go for it. Pasha being one of those main ones, like I was saying, that silence. If he does want to throw it out, it's a bit too close to the base though, being a little bit reluctant.
VP just trying their best to split the map up. You know that LGD's playing as a unit now.
Roger. He's getting stalked here by Ame.
Itu si Roger nggak naikin Thailand dulu ya?
Be able to back off. So 30 seconds, we're going to have these bounty runes coming out. LGD, they've got creeps hitting the base. They're actually forcing a reaction to the base right now, so they're going to look to make an aggressive play. They're like, all right, Silencer just went top. We can definitely look for a fight right now.
Mampus nih, jadi kena culik, kelar dah.
With a full butterfly finished up on Celtics. They're jumping for Ramses.
They managed to break the link because they're in with the silence. The Global does come out. He did manage to shift before the silence came in. So Ramses has got enough HP to be able to waveform back out of there. Pasha is going to start to fight back with the Primal Split. Surrounding X-Nova, Somnus with the flak. Will start to kill off the Brewlings very quickly. Pasha's got to be careful. Dragging in Chalice.
Modar dong anjing, mati anjir, mati.
There'll be a buyback from Solo. Sorry, it was Ramses as well. It was Ramses and the Shaky Movie and Ramses. They got both of them. It's a triple buyback from VP.
Tiga orang buyback.
Oh my god.
I mean, I got baited. I saw a Shaker die. I was like, Rogers there. I was like, no, hang on. That's Ramses.
He's getting caught off.
Ramses at the start of the fight.
That Orchid is really catching him off guard there.
It looked like Ramses was safe for sure. He built up all the HP, but he ends up back in the middle of the fight as the Shaker
Anjing Rosan emas.
Rosan serius.
Kalau 2000 ini.
They buy back on X, no, but they're like, let's just bring the fight to them. They don't have anything available. Roger, sure, he's got Echo Slam, but...
risky player from VP. It's not the quick
greget gue, ngeri gue.
VP suka YOLO dari dulu.
Gak ada buyback itu si Ramses.
I don't know if VP can get away with this.
Doesn't look like they're jumping forward.
Ramsey just trying to
Bangsat. Berani banget mereka ya. Harus buyback triple gitu, orang masih pada hidup.
They've got to back off.
Oh my, he had it up too. I had him clicked on. It was not cancelled. He just didn't get it off there.
Ramses.
Wah, ganding dong si Ramses.
Has to be careful though when he's the shaker. We saw him get tripped up in that mid lane. And now PSG LGD are holding on to a mighty 12k gold lead.
And that was VP buying back 3 heroes trying to get something, just desperately trying to get anything out of it, and they can't. This Orchid, Ame, purchasing this was just causing so many problems for VP. They're set up here for the fights, but...
And with it, he needs that BKB, but again, it's still back to that point where he's only halfway towards the money. It's going to take a lot more time. We'll see this again from Roger. Nothing cancels this.
No, look, he just echoes the floor. It was still on
cooldown.
It was still on cooldown. Okay.
So maybe it was just still on cooldown from before.
I guess it must have still been for a second. All right, when I clicked, it looked like I must have clicked it a second later.
Because he didn't look like anything cancelled it. I think maybe just in his mind he felt that the timing was there, and that 15 seconds was still ticking down.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot of momentum. Look at this Insomnus. He's super farming.
Catur nge-email lu nggak sih?
The important heroes on the side of PSG.
Catur.
They have the farm on VP. They're really starting to fall behind that mid game, that early game, that dazzle. Sure, no, he's 4-1-4, but it's a dazzle now at this point. It starts to become very hard.
Ada waktu itu kayaknya.
3 kills across the map. Solo trying to push out that top lane.
Banyak feed ke si
Solo must have known that was going to end in death. I guess at least trying to use
jauh banget networknya anjir.
make sure that the lanes are pushed out. It's more kills for LGD. It's only 11 to 10, but just the fact that the kills have meant that much more. The buybacks have heavily set VP behind, and the farm rate of Arme's, Sven, and Somnus' Gyro is just at a rate that's very hard.
Yeah. It's really easy
to efektif banget dia, gila.
Spaces there, easy rush, easy ages for Somnus.
It's really telltale that VP has only gotten 1 kill in the last 16 minutes. How aggressive and how dominant LGD really has been around this mid game. Look at that one ticker. They've gotten an Ogre Magi kill in the last 16 minutes. Besides that, it's been only LGD just cruising through, finding every single fight that they want. Pretty much right when I had said that I think Brewmaster was looking pretty good. Why haven't we seen Brewmaster? It just completely shifted the other way around.
It's a game against the Sven and
the Gyro. Akhirnya pakai Sven kayak susah kalah gitu.
Carries in the game to kill those Brewlings.
Yep.
It's not easy for Pasha.
They've got the BKB now on Ramsey, so he's going to be feeling a lot safer. There's still so much damage now, and now at this deficit, do they even have the damage to deal with LGD's draft? As the BKBs, like we said, are ready. They've got their Aegises as well. And Chalice now picking up more items too. Has the Mac, going to be going for Greaves too. So a lot of mitigation going to be coming out for PSG LGD. They do have Roger also hitting level 14 now for VP, so in relation to Ramses, he's going to have that Max Enchant Totem. Yeah, double bloodlusted cores on PSG LGD. 2 of the best, like you were saying.
I mean, is there a chance for VP that this morph could be the game-winning element? Is the sort of the morph shaker interaction strong enough to win a game when they're 15k down?
They have to get some better forms of initiation. Roger, having such a solid early game, has not been able to find almost anything after that. Seems like PSG LGD always seems to know where he is in the fights and catching him at the start. It's VP.
Aduh.
He's out of the game immediately.
High ground, bro.
Gitu dipakai goblok.
But they won't find.
Berani banget tapi si itu ya. Si Pasha.
That BKB Ramses, so a little harder for them to catch out.
Polos banget naik HG orang.
Splitting up much versus this Morphling, so
duh, berbir.
Try for the quick kill, the waveform, and the damage.
Ramses!
Wah,
aman.
jumps in with the echo. Will popped as well as VP will try and chase for another. They're blocked off Chalice with the Fisher.
Itu visualnya jauh banget.
Tanky enough that they won't be able to commit and stick on him. Chalice is able to walk away. So buyback from Pasha. And again, it's just the Ogre dying. They cannot find any of the big kills.
And that was an Echo Slam committed too. And they only get that Ogre. Now a full Aghanim finished up on the Gyrocopter as well. Considering going for something here, there's still the BKBs.
trauma lihat kuning kah?
All the big heroes are here for PSG. LGD VP have to hold back. There's no way that's in their best interest to try and find a fight. They will back away.
So some of the times when I have seen these Ags Morphlings with the Earthshakers, what ends up happening is one team starts splitting up, and that's where the Morphling really starts picking himself up. Because you get the one-by-one kills constantly, you get these massive amounts of experience. But PSG, LGD, look at this, they're all just grouped up. They know how strong they are. They still have their ages available too. They're trying not to give VP any little type of breathing room at all.
They're playing
Si
phenomenal.
Noan tapi jadi support ya ujung-ujungnya.
Oh, anjing, mampus ya kejepit Kang.
He's gonna be able to move out of that. Wow. Kind of stuck.
Anjing itu double fissure gitu anjing, ngeri gitu.
Chalice.
Masuk
dong. Parah anjing.
Roger selamat. Roger selamat. Anjing gak mati dong si goblok.
Morphingnya ngambil grab loh.
Oh fuck.
Anjing gak mati loh. Kita mah udah kocar kacir kali tadi kalau digituin anjing. Buset. Gua Bimo udah kocar kacir kali.
He lands like a dream ravage in the backlines, but they're able to disengage.
They've got the items now, VP, having those BKBs. The Linkers and the BKB, of course, on Ramses, they can play their way out of it.
But do they have the damage? They're going to be able to disengage, but will they actually ever be able to look for kills? Setting up onto Somnus and onto Ame, it's seeming extremely difficult here, as Chalice always just seems to be in the front lines, not really taking too much damage. And immediately we'll blink away from Ramses. Yeah, they're just so tanky, and they're really all just starting to pick up more and more items. FY, quiet game, but you look at him trickling up on that net worth. He's ahead of Pasha on the Brewmaster. He's got a Hex queued up.
Pasha
We're already
tadi
talking
pas
about the
banget lagi
problems
refleksnya.
for Ramses getting caught by these stuns, by these silences. If they do ever get that, definitely going to be a really hard game for the Morphling.
Yeah, butterflies on both cores as well. Ame and Somnus.
Oh, Ame also finishing one
he
up
goes
too.
for the
Wow.
butterfly.
Selling that Midas. Not wanting to pick up an AC. He just wants to get this instead for his team, as he's going to be able to have that 1-to-1. No one really going to be able to bring him down too hard. The enchant totem, though, from the Morphling, you know, you do get that true strike, which
right?
That'll be one thing, but
which you can sort of make it like, well, why the butterfly? We do see obviously butterfly
it's such a value.
sometimes.
It's just such a value.
The attack speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of armor that gives, I guess. And of course, with just everything else that's going to be trying to him in the fight.
Yeah.
The splits, the summons from no one.
Strength heroes, like even like dating back forever, it's always been like, I want to buy a butterfly, but you sometimes you just don't have the slots for it. This time he's feeling super confident. They have a 20k gold lead.
Let's
VP
see.
starting to trickle their way out forward here.
Ada di high ground.
What can they find?
Ramses.
Bang.
He's going to try and look for the opening.
Wah anjing. Itu double fissure anjing. Oh, FY. Ame ngejar siapa itu? Oh, Ame ngejar si Nowan.
Anjing gak sempet ulti.
Mati anjing. Itu anjing trik baru aja double fissure. Double kill. Refleksnya belum keluar ya? Mampus anjing. Ayo Wiberbir. Wiberbir. Jadi masih ada refleks.
In the last 20 minutes, right?
He is the only one who's died in the last 20 minutes. Yep.
Udah ada ulti lagi
unable to find any kills.
All working to plan. The Ogre Magi strats are real here. And it's absolutely working for LGD.
Hey, he's doing his job. He's bloodlusting in the fights, and then he dies. They're like, all right, Xnova, great job. Yeah, they're really starting to, I mean, they have been running away with this one for about 20 minutes now. VP unable to really find any breathing room as Ramses stepping up. His BKB just comes back up. Whoa.
Untung Link.
That was a little scary.
It's got to feel rough for VP. I mean, they've only killed the Ogre. They cannot kill anyone else, it seems, on PSG.
Ogre doang.
Oh, look at this, too. A bit of a, quickly.
Buset, ngeri banget anjing.
Basher being built up on a gyrocopter after the Aghanims.
Nggak berubah loh itu.
I mean,
Ingat si ini, siapa sih yang main orang Indo?
40 minutes in, 27k advantage, 25's coming out as well. Can VP swing this game around? They're running a lineup that has that Brew off lane, this Dazzle mid. I feel like sort of these heroes, their time in the game, it's kind of passed.
It passed
it's
a long
all
time
on
ago.
the Morphling.
Yeah.
It's all on Ramses.
It's a full 4 protect 1 that in the mid game
Ayo nih,
got
Berbir nih.
completely outran here by LGD.
And
They've lost their timings.
I mean, if they can hold and keep it up, is there not going to be a point of the game where Ramses is like, well, I need to start building right click and screw the Shaker. I've got to become the Jara.
He has to. I mean, he has to get the Manta as well, though. That's the problem. Is that these silences and this control is just too much.
He's not investing yet. So do you think he's thinking, well, let's get a right click, let's get some damage items?
But what would he get? That's the one thing I'm trying to think. What's the solution? What right click item?
Get Rapier, become Gyro, bam.
Still very difficult. They're so tanky, right? Even then.
You've got the Grave. You'll always get the hits off.
Got the Grave, yeah, that's true.
You'll always get the hits off. I think he's thinking about
Anjing refresher bete anjing.
I do believe.
I know he's got the recipe anyway, so he is going to continue with the safety route, get that Manta done, and make sure he's got the money. Yeah,
Iya ya, siapa Somnus sama Ramses sama-sama rank 1 baru ini.
Masa strike satunya Eropa ya? Eropa. Somnus Cina ya?
Cina.
But he is going to be short of that Manta style for 3 minutes.
And they've already been unable to really kill anybody besides the Ogre, like you said. Azidi route.
All right. I think PSG LGD is gearing up for the finishing blow to VP in this game 1.
They have a Hex on the Rubik as well, like I was mentioning. So those instant disables, we're going to have to watch Ramses if he's going to be able to get that BKB off before he gets caught.
Silencer nih, Sevennya, tuh kan.
As well as Roger, both playing on the left side there. Ame already pops the God Strength, ready to go. He's jumping in.
Bang. Zing, bener dong. Solo mati langsung. Si Solo nggak keluar mulu dia dari semua dah. Lu di belakang banget ya. Lihat aja mereka ya. Ini LGD. Kalau ini
It's only going to last so long as they'll wait it out. LGD
Anjing,
finish off the entirety.
shot gunnya si Morphling doi.
He's going to look for the jump forward. He's trying for X-Nova. But this time
Otis, anjing Ogrenya aja nggak bisa dibunuh anjing Ogrenya aja.
X-Nova will be able to
Ramses
stay the boys this time. He's not dying today.
Goblok.
That was one of the cheeses, I believe, because they still have the second one, so yeah. And now a full refresher as well. Fortunately, I think they had a refresher shot as well, right? I think they must have used it before.
X-Nova. He had the cheese. They prepared him for this push. They made sure he took his dinner with him.
Dia terakhir salah pencet SD kali ya.
As now they can't even kill the Ogre.
Now they... Maybe they'll give him another one. They're gonna keep it.
With the mentality now, they've tried to kill the Ogre. They can't even kill the Ogre. As this lead just continues to go. And I feel that we've seen VP in this situation quite a few times in the group stage. And
carry-nya jauh, bakal comeback. Iya susah sih.
after game
Nggak, masalahnya ada dua aja carry-nya. Berat-berat lagi. Gear-nya jadi bukan hero. Ngakak masalahnya gear-nya hero. Lagi bos. Gila kombonya anjing LGD. Tapi Ramses berat banget dah ini kayaknya ngangkatnya. Cuma sendiri anjing dia.
Making themselves feel at home
Nah,
inside the
tuh
best.
kan. Lihat dia mau ngebunuh FY aja susah banget tuh. Tuh. Anjing. Udah GG nih. GG nih. Berat ya. Emang LGD tim paling kuat di Cina buat sekarang. Dari tahun lalu sih GG udah. Berat itu si Ramses kayak ngangkat banget tapi kasihan gue liatnya.
Can they come back in game 2? I don't know if they can. This has been less than ideal for them to open up on the main stage, but for PSG LGD,
Gak bisa dibawa ke ujung.
Gue dari tadi ngeliat Echo Slam aja.
this couldn't have gone any better.
Gua orang global silence aja gak keluar, gue liat dari tadi.
Running away with it perfectly. They have this initiation coming from Pasha every single time. They're always taking the fights on their own accord. Everything's going well. You know, those first 10
nangis
kills,
ya Rusia.
they get the blink dagger on Chalice, and the whole game explodes and turns around. They fully claim the whole map control. They take several fights in a row that are extremely dominant in their favor. And VP, they hit a brick wall. All they can kill is an ogre.
Dan berapa ya? BO3, BO5 sih? BO3 ya?
Anjing, ini sebenarnya nih.
Cuma final doang.
Iya, BO3. Best of 3. Nyari 3.
Feel very happy after that. As PSG LGD take game 1 leading this series for now. But there we have it. A beautiful victory for LGD and VP. They've got some.
Di sini PSG-nya RRQ anjing. Mobile Legends.
Upper bracket
There we go then. Game number 1 in the bag, and it's exactly the same story as we had in 2018. This, of course, a matchup that we saw in exactly the same round this time.
Tuan rumah ya sih, tuan rumah nggak boleh. Ini kan gue bilang tadi, kalau di awal malu banget ini tuan rumah. Mana yang paling kuat lagi?
I think our draft panel are ready.
Masih ada Royal Never Give Up sih, tapi Royal Never Give Up juga tuan rumah.
So let's head over there and find out from our 3 men who predicted rightly or wrongly.
Ah, serius sudah nggak kontrak?
I don't really know if we gave a hard prediction, but let's just
we were right.
No, we were right. Thank you, Purge. Yeah. And I think it was because this Dazzle thing was unexpected.
Tadi siapa? Itu Ahmed tuh tadi tuh.
Initially,
Bright Blue ya.
Yeah, I mean, it's typically a support, but lately, at various times has been a core.
Itu Ame sama Ana, tapi masih bagusan Ana sih.
Make the Brewmaster pick make more sense because Brew splits into 3 units. The Shadow Wave is going to be high leveled because he was a core, and that meant that they could do way more mid game damage. So they basically surprised their opponents with sort of a cheese pick, and then they handled a much stronger mid game than their opponents expected.
Yeah, they got a lot of value out of the Dazzle mid too. We've seen Somnus play a lot of matches with this Shadow Doctor, and the Dazzle just he lost his lane. I think for the first time this tournament, he lost his lane really hard. I don't remember seeing him losing it that hard. I think no one was ahead by 2,500 net worth over the gyro, I believe, at minute 15. But then you get 1 or 2 good team fights. We run into the problems with VP's lineup where we talked about the big cooldowns. If they fail one time, there's an Echo Slam that whiffs, or the Brewmaster split after they take Aegis on cooldown, and you know, LGD just run in and fight into Aegis.
Yeah, it was just like 2 good fights by LGD. They got the Morphling kill in the jungle at that one point, and they all end on an Ogre, and that was all they got. And at that point, they're just going to get outscaled.
Yeah, they had tried even to finish off that Ogre at the end, and they were confident. They're like, I don't need a cheese. Give it to my Ogre. X-Nova, give him some fantasy points on the board. So that concludes Game 1 of the International main event. What a way to start it.
Thanks very much, gents. Yeah, we're going to get some more words from Lacoste, Lyrical, and Trent alongside as well. Gents, enjoy that?
Yeah, well, do you think they're ever going to go back to them if they're wrong? I feel like...
we don't go back to wrong people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how it works.
That's the place to be. Us all. Yeah, you get to look good over there, you know? You make a mistake, they just forget about it.
But it's okay, because we don't have to make any predictions whatsoever. We can just have fun over here. This is the fun place right now.
Yeah, we're the fun. If we were smart, we would be on that panel,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, you could look at it. If
we're not fun, do we need to find us a 3rd job? Maybe observing will do.
Is that easy? Oh. It looks difficult to me.
It's a lot of pressure, too.
Is it?
Speaking of pressure.
Yes.
Oh, you see that one?
Segue.
That's what we do in this panel.
Segue.
He doesn't want to observe, he wants to host. That's right. How it is. Okay.
No, to me, it was like that crazy moment. Like, VP so far ahead early on. And the other big thing about that game was the Morphling Earthshaker. That combinations looked brutal.
Yeah.
And it just didn't end up working out for him. I feel like the nerves got to him a little bit on the big stage.
You think
I'm not sure.
You think nerves?
I
just felt like
nerves
maybe they needed to be
nerves. Maybe nerves.
All right. The nerves.
That's what I was trying to say.
It just felt like maybe they needed a bit further ahead. Get ahead and get further ahead. I don't know. Let's check in with our wonderful Casey, who is out roaming the halls as ever, interviewing fans and you know, generally having fun.
How you doing, Red Eye? I'm doing good. We are here interviewing fans here live in the crowd. Casey, pretty good game 1, yeah?
That was an awesome game 1. I think TI9's off to a pretty good start.
As do I, but let's hear about what our fans think. First things first, I found this young man. What's your name, sir?
My name is Jake.
Jake, you're live streaming right now. I don't know if you guys can see this, but he is actually in real lifing at the moment with his own chat. This is some Inception stuff.
That's right. I'm here covering TI from the event floor because I'm not going to do the actual games going on.
We are going to sue you, though.
Yeah, I'm going to put the camera
camera down now. Great. Why are you here? Who? Anyone you want to talk to? Anyone you want to support? Put the ball. Okay. Honestly, I'm here for Alliance and EG. Got some friends on each team, and I wish Bulldog was here. I think he's hiding somewhere, but maybe next time. Maybe next time. Probably not, though. Thank you very much, my friend. Anything you'd like to say to your fans that are watching? Oh, wait, these guys, wait, my fans or your fans? All right, thanks a lot, boss. All right, you were great.
We're talking to all the fans here, and we found somebody who this is their first TI that they've ever attended. Watch out, Casey. My name is Casey. Nina.
Udah satu menang siapa?
Nishiwan
Lu mau solo gitu?
LGD.
I asked him what team was his favorite, LGD. And what do you think of TI so far? TI 9?
Makan ya, Bray, Bim. Mangga, sok.
Yo. 那个非常的让人兴奋，老杨一定是不可战胜。
Sir Action selects Boo How.
No Boo How.
Sir Action selects Bushiwan.
Riwa. Enggak.
Segment, Casey. Thank you very much.
Punya siapa?
What's wrong with you?
Shishi. I'll give you I'm gonna ask you one more time because I want you to be super excited. Nishiwan Nagadoi.
LGD.
Yes! Great! LGD, lots of fans in the crowd, and you are still watching your own.
I just subscribed to him. Did you? No, I did not. Thanks.
He subscribed to me. He can't be subscribed to everyone out there. Thank you very much, Casey, and Sir Action Slacks out there enjoying themselves, but fans also enjoying themselves. Anyone here for their first TI? Anyone?
I mean, if
technically not, because you've actually played here. That doesn't count, Lacoste. You've been to 3.
Anyone else played at TI?
Token gope 1000 ini apa sih?
Not yet.
Itu buat tim naik nambah level. Setim.
Only 4? That's a good number.
Good win, mate. Yeah, Tsunami here enjoying
Level battle point. Tapi VG juga Cina ya?
I was obviously very skeptical, like, oh, you go to a China TI, the crowd, will it be as emotional and everything? My ears are ringing.
Dude, it was freaking loud. I honestly, the last time I remember being kind of like, oh my god, can you guys keep it down? Was Manila Major.
Yeah.
Like, those guys were insanely loud. These guys are on a par. Seriously. Gents, let's move towards our second game. Obviously, we can wrap up on the first one as well. Trent, what do you make of Virtus Pro? Because, like I said, I ended that bit before we spoke to Casey. It's like, I felt like maybe they need to be a bit further ahead.
It's a strat they've run before, this mid-dazzle, and it often looks fairly similar. They get very far ahead, and you're like, oh, this is rolling really well for them, but the problem is it's very temperamental.
It's artificial, isn't it?
You make one mistake, it's over.
Yeah.
Right? And that happens,
Biasa anda gue naikin
like 2
skill
mistakes
duluan.
first, like the push gets denied, and then you kill the Morphling once, and you just feel super good on the side of LGD.
Yeah. The strat is good if you're snowballing, because you have Dazzle who's going to get this Necrobook level 1, then he's going to get the Guardian Greaves, but you're playing against Sven, who's one of the better heroes.
Besok dah.
And the Necrobook, he just leads both of these heroes instantly after the split.
To me, it was like that moment, too, where you don't necessarily want to pick the strats that are on such a tight timing. Like, the cores from LGD, I think eventually were always going to be able to catch up in that game once they found and killed the Morphling.
Well,
so
that's why you got to be fast.
Exactly, but that's the problem. I think playing on a timer in this environment... Play faster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Lacoste gets it.
But PSG LGD, though. I mean, that's a great start out of it. They needed that one in a way, didn't they, Lyrical? Because they don't want the crowd on their back, and I know they probably wouldn't have them on their back, but they'd be nervous. They'd be more nervous if they 1-0 down.
They'd be on their back.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to be nice, man.
No, seriously. Like, but that's the thing about these fans. They're the most passionate, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing in the C region, right? You feel that energy, and then the second you make a mistake, the second you lose one game, it is brutal.
Yeah.
They turn on you very quickly.
I think that...
it sounds like you have some expert knowledge here, Trent, from hockey.
Well, I have people turn on me all the time. It's
right.
I remember you last year with the jersey.
Exactly.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
They thought I was so nice.
Well, I think you kind of brought it on yourself with the wrong jersey.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's where you went with them. No bad jerseys this year.
No, I'm good.
Not a lot of hockey fans in China?
No.
Okay.
Surprising.
Weird.
Who knew?
Yeah.
As we head into this second game, Lacoste, what do you want to see different from Virtus Pro? Because they have messed around quite a lot with heroes in the group stages. They played the third most heroes, actually, during the group stage.
I want to see some more late-game oriented lineups, because
something that can combat
all the games
PSG.
that they lose, they GG out before 50-minute mark. Only one was after. They're the team that is going to call an early GG, just focus on their next game. And
that said, they hung in there on game one, though. They were like 20, 30k behind at some point, and they hung on.
For a moment, I thought that they were going to call GG way earlier, because that's how they are. They just focus on the next one.
Yeah, okay.
I kind of like the idea of getting more aggro early. I think you need to have that late game insurance, but like you got to go back to the core of what made this team great. And to me, at least, it felt like it was always getting in somebody's face, spirit break, just run at people. You know, make them feel uncomfortable.
More CIS style Dota.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard now, though. I feel like the offlaner is one of the heroes that typically helps facilitate that, and the offlane pool is awful right now. You play Ogre or Ench, or you...
Level 2 kayak
Also, same for everyone, actually.
I know.
Another
That's why it's hard for Virtus Pro.
But other teams are making it work fine.
Well, you need other people to step up then.
Yeah.
So you're gonna.
So
I just don't think Pasha can really be the one to lead it.
We need the darks here. That's what you're telling me.
Maybe. I don't know about that though.
I think that as much as I was saying, it's either that or like the Ursa. The Ursa was another one for them that was really cool because you could start the early tempo of taking down Roche and just shut down the map. So if they went for something like that, I'd be very happy about it. Even though it's a hero that hasn't been picked all that often, I like the idea of it. Just for their tempo.
We've got a couple of minutes, obviously, before the teams come back out there and rest and then break. We'll get into towards the draft, go back to our draft panel, of course. Gives us a little bit of time to talk about group stages a little bit more because we didn't really cover it massively earlier on. But for those joining us right now, and I know a lot of new people do join us at this point in the international. The group stages were pretty sexy.
Yeah, they really were really nice moments throughout the group stage. If I had to pick the best one, I would say probably Newbie. Their performance throughout the group stage, they could have won. Yeah, they could have won. Yeah, the performance of Team Newbie was pretty much a newly formed team. They could have won 2-0. I think against Team Secret, there's just some late game decisions were not there. Also, their game against Alliance, where they had the Anti-Mage. Fighting against Mega Creeps with the Divine Rapier. So, some of these things get stuck in your head.
They were great, weren't they? Absolutely great. Also, I just want to throw it out there. The Rampages. Now, I'm a sucker for the Rampages.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There was a wee double Rampage in that game as well, or he was chasing it, and they were, buying back. I get it, but at the same time, it was also a
Siapa Bray? Best carry berarti Ai.
Yeah, from a certain cheesy, which
Best carry
I
TI siapa menurut mana?
one of the best we've seen.
Apa?
It was pretty
Best carry.
really.
And on a life stealer, you don't
TI
know
sekarang.
Yeah. Samao actually told me last night.
Ngikutin anjing.
He was like, we were telling him, get back.
Nisa sih.
Just get back. What are you doing? Like, don't go deep. And he was having none of it. As the teams return to the center of the Mercedes-Benz Arena here in Shanghai, if you're just joining us, welcome to live coverage of the greatest Dota 2 show on earth. It is the International 2019. Game number 1 went the way of PSG LGD against Virtus Pro. It is a repeat of the quarterfinal upper bracket that we had at TI-8 last year in Canada. And the same result from game number 1. Is that going to be trippy a little bit for Virtus Pro? They're just going to be like, oh god, here we go again.
I think that it might be, honestly. This is a team that, like we talked about at the very opening panel.
They have those bogeys, don't they?
Yeah,
the AG thing that
Mari kita lihat
get
game
over
2.
it, they just kept losing.
And so they're like a victim of their own success. And it's a sort of, you compare this to a team like Alliance, right? Like heartbreaking losses, normally you end up having a lot of trouble dealing with them. Alliance, they're used to heartbreaking losses this year. And so they've gotten a lot of practice against it. Virtus Pro, not so much. Only at TI.
I think teams, though.
You're getting quite bro. I think the heads are having an effect on us, right?
Yeah.
The
We'll
Jakiro head on
next
you.
time.
We have to trade them since it works the other way around.
You can't split Jakiro's head.
That's true.
Yeah.
2 for 1.
Yeah.
But my point with that was that they've gotten really, really good at dealing with it, and now they're one of the best teams at coming back after a loss. Virtus Pro, this is going to be the testing ground for them. Did they learn from last year?
Well, and also we've seen it in the groups. You know, they were under pressure. Day 1 under pressure. Day 2 under pressure. Day 3 under pressure. All right, day 4, guys. We got to qualify for them, and they did it.
They love nothing more than shutting up people who are talking about them. Right? That is Virtus Pro's favorite
we don't
thing.
play enough heroes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just play every hero, then pick every hero.
Exactly.
We don't ban properly. Oh, let's just ban everything properly. We can't win from behind. Oh, we win from behind.
I like what they did here. They brought 2 coaches, so they can blame 2 people if something goes wrong. So they actually have Arzik, who's their old coach, and they have a new guy from Gambit.
Yeah.
Inside the mind.
Do they just flip a coin if they get knocked out? All right,
Who do we blame?
Who's getting cut? All right.
More options for blame. I like it. PSG, obviously, quite calm right now. Lyrical come back out. I know it's home crowd and the pressure's still there, but they coped perfectly well with it game 1. No reason to suspect they wouldn't in game 2.
No, definitely. I think that this is a team that that understands the feeling of loss, but also how to come back from it. And the biggest issue would maybe be coming back from a win. That's not as hard. That's a lot more simple to do.
Yeah, definitely easy coming back
from a win.
Exactly. Right.
Is that a thing?
How do we do that again?
I'm sure that's a thing.
No, it's not. But like, just run the same draft. Let's run it back. Let's see what they do. If I'm them right now, the other thing about it is that like their draft work exactly how they thought it would, I think that they were ready for that early aggression and then sort of absorbed it, and now we're going to come back again and do the exact same thing.
It's also what they've shown in the past, right? I mean, they just Tidehunter again, right? Gyrocopter again. Nothing too surprising there, so stick with what works.
LGD played really well around the timings of these big ulti cooldowns. The Silencer ulti, the Brewmaster, one of them was on cooldown. They go into Roche, but they could take objectives, and the second Roche was crucial. 3 buybacks. This is what VP loves to do, especially when they have a Silencer. Solo was the guy who invented it. Buyback, use global silence, go in, bait some BKBs. But this game, it did not happen. And after the second Roche, it was just everything fell apart because they didn't get the buyback to get Aegis and the cheese, and they didn't get any of those.
Yeah, tough game all round. They've definitely got to switch things up in this second game as we head towards the draft, obviously, momentarily. I want to talk about Arme. Doesn't always get the footage. We talk about maybe a lot, we talk about Rams and everything, but Arme had an amazing group stage. He had the least amount of deaths of any player in the group stage, and it was by quite a distance as well. Just 26 deaths in the whole of the group.
He had a lot to prove, I think. A lot of people were questioning last year, obviously, in the Grand Finals. There were a lot of people that were blaming him, I think unfairly so. And in the end, he's coming out here showing, I still got what it takes. There's a reason that people emulate my style the world over, and he's owning with it. So, yeah, I'm super big Ame fan. I think that just needs to keep doing what he's doing, definitely.
He has the least deaths because he played Faceless Void 5 times, so he can time walk. We shouldn't take that into consideration.
You're not supposed to reveal the secrets of how and why, Lacoste. What are you, some sort of analyst?
Nah, I'm just here to have fun.
You're on the wrong panel right now, buddy. Wait until later. Come out with the analysty things later.
We can promote them.
Is that a promotion?
I think so.
Oh.
Promotion working with these guys?
Yeah. It's a promotion for the analysts. For the host, though, the desk gets much smaller. You know, first TI, very little.
Well, we don't want to get too carried away.
Yeah, the big head kind of a deal.
He had a good group stage, multicast stuff. We don't want to get too...
I'm jealous of the beard, though. I think we all are.
Yeah, I would love a beard like that. A beard like that would be amazing. I can't do that. You've got the same issue with me.
Yeah,
I get the patches.
Well, this is actually just grey hair.
Is it grey?
Yeah, that's just grey.
Dude, that's worrying.
I know. Don't worry about it, though.
He's just a silverback.
He's going to bring attention to it.
Wait, what's worse, grey hair or the ginger hair on the beard?
Oh, definitely the ginger. Definitely the ginger.
Is it? Really?
He's distinguished.
It looks good. Looks good. You're very clean shaven. I like that. We've stuck together.
I don't have a choice.
Really?
It's like trying to go for that. It doesn't look good.
Is it like a year on and you're just like, I've got something there?
Alah, kebeli dua-duanya anjing.
About 3 weeks ago.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Right, we're gonna have fun all the way through the international 2019 panels. But the more serious stuff, the more analytical stuff, we are on the panel for game number 2.
Dapat
PSG LGD versus Virtus Pro.
Let's see. Siapa menang nih?
That's
Ini kalau VP kalah, ditendang aja langsung.
That's right, Red Eye. Mom said it's my turn on the draft panel, and we're gonna take it away. Brewmaster, one of the unpicked heroes previously. VP brings it out. Now, in a main stage event, doesn't really pan out for them very well. What do you think was the issue, Purge?
It just came down to LGD playing extremely well. They knew what their opponents had. There was good kills that VP secured, but they had to... They just have to like delay until the late game, because at some point the Sven was amazing in that match, like the other guys talked about, like the Sven cleave against the next and especially the Sven cleave against the Brew split. Like his Brew split, he was aiming for this like mid game timing. He bought Vlad's, he bought a medallion, I think. He didn't even go for, I don't think, Blink Dagger. And at some point, once his Brew splits gets cleared, it's like all of VP's oomph just gets deleted from the fight.
I mean, to add to that, I just want to point out that when your chair came up, you know, there's like this expectation. Okay, now he's going to be in the same height as the others.
You guys dwarf me in both Dota knowledge and height, but LGD and VP dwarf us in both.
That's true. On this panel, Dota knowledge is directly proportional to height.
Is it really?
Oh, okay. Yes. So right now the table knows
what do you
about as much.
You like 50% of us, or?
That would be generous at best.
So the table is like 4K.
This is a legend era, a legend tier desk, and you guys are immortal tier players, of course. And PSG LGD picking out one of the most popular supports. Oh, we're just rolling right through this. And they take one of Virtus Pro's supports. They take the Shadow Demon, VP's most picked hero of the group stage.
It's kind of both teams. I mean, almost every single lineup is happy with the Shadow Demon. Leshrac is banned in the first phase, so LGD can't grab that as their quick one too. And Gyro also being gone means they gotta go something new.
Yeah. We had a game with VP in the group stage. They played Roger on the Elder Titan. He was kind of a sponge in that game. He died countless times, it felt like, but VP still ended up grabbing the win. I think that was against Fnatic game 1. One of the really important wins that got them to the stage. So probably going back to that because they felt like, okay, if we can have a game where Roger is not shining on the Elder Titan and we can still win, this might be something to revisit. And stealing the Gyro away is obviously great. I thought maybe we were going to see a Mirana from LGD in this slot with the Shadow Demon, but I don't know how much they've even played it here. It's been a hero mainly other teams have been favoring as an overall thing.
FY definitely had a breakout performance on it in the group stage, but it hasn't been necessarily one of their comfort heroes.
The Tide pick, we saw it last game. I thought it was extremely effective, especially against the Dazzle strat. Like, how disrupting it is to know that like almost everybody that's within cast range is going to get stunned if they don't have BKBs active. It really was a big deal multiple times. Chalice's ultimates were effective consistently. He was like the stun follow-up with his carry, and they know that they're going to have a decent laning stage because Tide can lane against a variety of heroes and can transition well.
They use Tide for something that very few heroes can perform in the game right now, which is they use him as a wall. So if VP want to push towers, they plant Chalice there as just a problem.
Yeah,
and when it comes to Roche, right? VP were trying to Roche, and Chalice would just blink in, anchor smash, and run out. Get information, buy time, outlast cooldowns, and then they could fight. So they're very conscious about how to use time. Because of that, I think it would be really cool to see VP grab something that stops Tide in his tracks. Grab a break, or grab something like Disruptor, who can catch him in Static Storm, so he's like consistently silenced throughout the kill. And they can get something going, but of course they are playing into a save.
So if he is aggressive in those push moments, they can actually have a way to turn that into a team fight for VP's favor?
Especially at Roche, right? If you have the Disruptor and the Tide blinks in, and that's how you try to counter Roche fights, you can just Static Storm him in the pit and Kinetic Field him and get a fight going where Ravage is not a factor. But of course in this game there is the Shadow Demon save you have to work around, so it's definitely not easy whatsoever, but they need to not let Chalice have this high of an impact in the game, I feel, and I think that's why LGD rate this hero so highly. There's two heroes for me that Chalice stands out on right now. One of them is the Enchantress that got banned, also huge Chalice hero last TI, coincidentally, and the Tide Hunter. So, you know, if VP have to ban all these other heroes, Chalice will get one of those too every time. Just be cool to see him forced into another role or another hero.
So we have one potential solution to make a Tide This is one of the solutions to maybe make sure that whenever you're getting initiated on by LGD, you have some options to make sure that your entire team is not getting ravaged.
Yep.
It can be iffy though, because Chalice has been standing in really good positions consistently, like high grounds, trees, always ready to hit the back line and follow perfectly. So I feel like if he places his Ravage really well, especially against like an Elder Titan in a line, it's iffy, because a lot of times Elder Titan's going to be channeling his Echo Stomp. If that gets interrupted, like that forward position support, useless basically. He can throw out his Earth Splitter, but I just feel like Tide, the way that LGD uses it, they're very good at finding good team fights and ravaging at the right time. Other teams that pick Tide, if they can't take good fights, it's never going to look like a good hero, but LGD really makes it shine. So I'm a little unsure about the support duo so far.
Well, do you think it's better than the Silencer that they first faced last
Yes,
time?
because that goes to the same problem. If it's harder for you to take team fights against your opponent, then Global Silence is not going to feel good either. So it's one of those team fight advantages that you just going to have to play against.
And again, it's comfort. VP had a great game with Solo and I. That was actually the same game. Elder Titan had a lot of deaths, and Solo ended up being the position 4 and had a huge impact on that win. The difference being, though, that in that game, picked the core with the Lion. It was a first phase from Fnatic in that game. This time around, Lion isn't really particularly good against any of these two heroes. The Hex is alright against Tide because it's a 0 damage stun, so you don't front crack him, but against Shadow Demon, you have the save against both heroes. And Kunkka as well can be used to make heroes survive this possible burst that Lion can provide.
That's a good point, and I think that's basically what VP grabbed the Line for, because it combos well Elder Titan. Elder Titan does the magic resistance reduction. Lion Finger and Stun is going to feel a lot stronger, even if he's not very farmed on the back line. So, like you said, the Kunkka boat's going to delay damage they take. The disruption will potentially stop that burst, but if not for the boat rum, yeah, it looks like they have a burst damage lineup building up so far. Okay, here's their team fight hero, right?
Yeah, lane-wise, it's not the strongest hero, but if he has a good laning stage, you can cascade in some damage items. Your Rolling Boulder is one of the strongest teamfight ultimates in the game because it just causes disruption against heroes like Shadow Demon or even Kunkka. Just keep interrupting them with stuns and let your team do the damage.
It's sort of equivalent for the Tidehunter on this VP draft, that you need someone who can be okay soaking up damage. And if you get a good shield crash proc, you will have plenty of damage reduction from his second spell.
Yep, and this is his first skill for Swashbuckle. You can move, but do a bunch of little slashes. If you build the right items, you can do a ton of damage with it.
Wow.
But the big thing is it turns into a ball, bounces around, does tons of stun disruption. People are just... It's very difficult to fight into Pangolier if he gets his ulti out.
Look who decides to show up.
Oh, Biko, tau-tau udah ada di bawah lagi sih.
The one concern I have with this Pangolier pick is that I think when LGD are showing both Tide and Kunkka, these heroes, there should be some overlap between what heroes are good against these two in the game and in lane, right?
Kompak ini LGD, kompak banget.
Yeah, they're both melee strength heroes, right? And you know the Tide is going on Chalice. You know the Kunkka is going on Maybe, unless they pull some complete curveball and put it safe lane or
It's my life.
Yep. Well, the thing is true, it could have been a 4. That's a really good point. At the time,
at the time, yes.
At the time, Kunkka would have been a 4 with Shadow Demon and LGD.
Tapi kalau mereka ketemu Alliance,
I was already thinking, okay, how can LGD or how can VP try to get a similar start to before, where they punish Somnus in mid, get a good counter matchup, and try to go from there. I don't think Pangolier wins against Kunkka. I think if at best it's a draw. Like that's got to be the best possible outcome. And Gyro against Kunkka, I think that's also kind of a draw. So.
So at this point, it's all but confirmed that FY is most likely going to be on the Mirana, X-Nova, on the Shadow Demon, Chalice, on the Tidehunter. Now we just need to see how LGD decide to rearrange their mid and carry roles. VP's obviously expecting this to be a
nobar aja kita nobar. Nggak bisa dia, nggak bisa. Kena skill satu gue.
That was the hero that Ame was using effectively. It's very good with Mirana. Chronosphere, you get a guaranteed 5-second hero. Basically means every time your Chronosphere is off cooldown, you're going to kill somebody. And because VP doesn't have any defensive saves right now, other than like Elder Titan hitting a backline or Pangolier doing the same thing, it could be very dangerous when they already have a team fight advantage. Because they have very good heroes for forcing their opponents to stick around or somebody to get left behind and die with the X. So VP's got to have maybe mobile heroes, try to pick fights in a safe way, or they can grab a save, but most of the good ones are gone. Is there any reason you wouldn't pick Sven right now again?
Bimo lagi main.
On LGD side? Yeah.
It depends on if you want a long fight or a short fight, I think. The way that Kunkkas choose to build, like if he goes for a Radiance sort of build, then maybe you want a long extended fight and you go for something that, I don't know, maybe like a Leshrac. They want to go fast. They want to go real fast. Phantom Assassin picked up as the core role for LGD.
I like that a lot better because it's a little bit more bursty. He's going to hit the backline, be able to kill line really easily, Elder Titan very easily once he gets BKB. And he can also jump around and dodge things like Rolling Boulder. Sven would have had a disadvantage in the early game pre-BKB against that.
The thing is that both those heroes will have to be very, very wary of the disarm from Pangolier.
It's true.
So,
good
shot.
One of Phantom Assassin's biggest weaknesses is the laning stage. She has a lot of weaknesses against a lot of heroes in lanes, but they're probably expecting this to be an offlane Pangolier who is also not a strong laner. So because of that, they can get away with this. But VP could put this Pangolier on no one. He's a very good Pangolier mid player, and they could pick the final hero for Pasha who can defeat this PA in the game. I kind of like the look of maybe Doom. You could Doom out the Tide. You're pretty good against PA in lane. You buy a chainmail, or maybe you're lucky and you devour an armor creep, and you can play that lane together with either Elder Titan or Lion, and just have that high impact later on in the game. I like that idea. Maybe they want another tanky stunner hero potentially that's going to lane well against the PA. Because right now with the things like having X Torrent and Arrow, for example, it's tons of stun duration. Having a more tanky hero might really help out against that kind of a combo, because I've seen a lot of games where Mirana just wins the laning stage because they're very good at executing the chain stun combos, and there's not much you can do about it. It's a mid-turn.
Vintage pick.
So this is something similar. I don't remember what team did it, but they picked a PL with the purpose of blocking arrows with the illusions. I think TB can do the same thing with Counter. It's going to give them the protection against the Mirana arrow combos because you can just use your illusion to block. I think that's what they're going for here, while it also being an okay carry. It's a high armor hero against PA as well. It's one of the carries that PA has the hardest time against, simply because she can't burst that hero. It just tanks too much of the damage when it gets its first major item up. And yeah, it's a Ramsey special. So.
And PA's BKB is going to be whittling down to 5 seconds extremely quickly. You're going to have to be dealing with a Lion, you're going to have to be dealing with Reflection, Elder Titan, all that stuff. If she gets an early BKB and they don't manage to wrap the game up early, that could be devastating for LGD.
It could, and it kind of depends on how well Terrorblade does. There's a lot of stuns on the enemy team, so if he's not super far ahead, he could definitely get bursted with chain stuns.
Anjing abis mana gue bangsat.
One of the VP coaches have to say about his draft. We've got Casey speaking to our Zeke.
Yeah, that's right. We're here to just get a little bit more of an idea of how you're feeling about the
tiba-tiba
draft.
kok
Are you
habis
feeling
sih?
confident after this draft, and how does that compare to how you felt after game one?
Of course, did you see Ramses playing TB? We're super confident. We call it Papuchka na TB.
Tenang udah biasa.
Now, what about how you feel
Joki.
about your confidence
Nanti
level
jangan
winning
ada replaynya
game
kok.
2? 100%?
More than 100%. Yeah.
This is also the first time for TI that coaches are able to sit and listen to the in-game chatter and the conversation of your players. What has that been like for you, and how has it helped you as a coach?
I'm super excited that they invented it, that we can listen to it. Super excited, and after the game, me and the second coach, we can tell the team what they can do better about communications and stuff. It's really good.
It helps the overall communication of the team.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Fogged, back to you and Owen.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Casey. Yeah, it should be an exciting game too. Great to see the confidence there from RZ coming into this. He truly believes in the Ramses Terrorblade, and as he pointed out in the past, there's very good reason to believe in it, right? This, back in the day, was the hero that Ramses would just insta-win games. Teams were first phase banning the Terrorblade. It's a bit of a different meta, a bit of a different time. Does it still have the power, and especially against this lineup, to get VP that win?
1, 2,
Not too
IJ,
sure. They have a
4.
lot of different solutions for it, though. The high armor, though,
1,
on
2, IJ, 4
that
dong.
Terrorblade, definitely very good pick there versus the PA, as well as versus that Titan. The Anchor Smash is still going to be annoying because you produce a lot of that damage, but you won't take as much, at least, from it. So that's going to be a neat one. And they should feel pretty confident, too, right? Ramses, they've won how many majors based on the back of Terrorblades and stuff like that. So we're going to see how it plays out here, too, because they do pick up Pango as well, which is a little concern for me.
Okay.
Having that hero, giving PA, what could potentially be a very strong lane, could be one of the things that I'm a little concerned for them there.
And there is going to be some struggle for the Terrorblade early on, right? Surely.
Itu si Solo dari tadi nggak kepake banget dah. Coba kita lihat lainnya coba nih sekarang.
There is this magical burst that a Terrorblade in the early portions of the game is very vulnerable to.
And look at the way that they're playing the lane already. You can tell that they want to go for some type of play immediately on Ramses, but I love the point that Kevin brought up. We saw that in the group stages. Someone, I think PL pick, like he was mentioning, you have your Conjure image, so at least you have some type of solution to block out those arrows. Solo, he wanted to go for a courier snipe, but they know.
Keeping it.
Oke, no one pakai Giro.
Emang ya sih
Giro dia lebih jago kali daripada Giro Somnus.
Asli loh, nggak gimana?
Can be a little bit scary. You actually get brought down as this Terrorblade. Now you won't have that TP to return the lane. So Ramses, they're gonna have to secure him, make sure he does not get killed. Mid, we see those first 4 creeps being secured by no one there.
Yeah, against the Kunkka with his right click, that's not an easy job.
No. Animation though, super good on Gyrocopter, pretty much instant, and you have the missile to zone him away. Doesn't get that deny there though. But overall, Kunkka versus that Gyrocopter, we've seen, I remember it was Team Secret, right? Last year, they loved it. Before it was nerfed, of course, with that Tidebringer, but overall, the way that there's the interaction of Rum versus Flak Cannon versus Gyrocopter overall is very strong. Able to pretty much counteract the entire Flak, and then your team can go for a fight when Gyro doesn't have it if you get the Rum off during it.
We heard obviously the confidence of RZ, but I think you look at the other side, that 5th pick PA, that just radiances, so there's a confidence from PSG LGD. You're picking this PA, a hero that is pretty squishy. There's a lot of magical burst against, but I think you're saying, well, we have got the Kunkka with the Rum, and we have got X-Nova with the Disruption. We can afford to play this hyper-aggressive glass cannon carry because of our lineup and because of how strong it is.
It's like they've got the double saves, and then they also have it to BKB time. Sure, in these type of parts of the game, he'll be a little bit weak. Arrow just off the mark. But once he gets BKB, he's going to reign supreme, right? Who's the only one he really has to worry about when he has BKB is just the Terrorblade at the end.
Very fire time, won't save him. VP, they're able to get in on the middle with Solo coming forward with that stun. His first blood is secured.
Mati nggak sih dia?
No, will be given that edge that he was already getting. As you say, he's playing this matchup perfectly.
This was one of the heroes that we've said a long time ago also, that VP, they were one of the first ones to really start bringing the mid gyrocopter when they were running it with Roger Earthshaker. When they first brought Roger along, they played this matchup so many times, just having that gyro being very aggressive in the mid lane. 15-3 start, also the Pango, 15-4 start. Very impressive already for VP. As also, X-Nova will go down.
Solo, he's making these moves from top lane to bottom lane, making sure that both of these cores really do have a beautiful opening in the first few minutes.
It's going to look to be a very early Javelin coming out for Pasha, based off how much he's able to get done in this top lane here with Solo so far.
Keren dah ininya TB. Immortal dulunya.
Solo.
Oh dia pakai yang hitam ya ininya ya kan. First blood tadi Beb.
Also, you have to throw in the ET, right? They have that extra natural order that will really amplify everything together when they will be able to have those timings.
Yuk.
We'll stack up onto Pasha, but it's only level 1.
Yeah, that importance of the BKB on PA definitely amplified this game. But it's gonna take time. We'll see what sort of a pace VP are able to play with. As they themselves also likely to be making moves as 4 and trying to buy space for Ramses on the map.
Lodas.
As their other 4 heroes can definitely afford to make aggressive plays. Bottom.
Ramses.
They go with the
Der.
storm.
Wah anjing hampir kena lah.
Burst low and indeed FY. Maybe watching a few too many BSJ streams. I'm joking, right?
Oh, he skills leap. He's going for the triple leap. He wants all. He gets
it. Yeah. He's watching BSJ streams. FY, there we go.
Ngapain dia bunuh diri?
Is Brian play Mirana?
I mean, I wouldn't call it play.
Come on. What did he do to you?
Duh, ilmu support masih banyak ya gua tahu.
Here's the meta for a bit of a show on to Chalice. He's tied. Can walk it off. FY's
no leap.
He's got the setup with the Hex. Roger with the stop. Solo, he's on a killing spree,
bro.
He's everyone.
Ngeliatin kalau dia juga
He's killed up. He's killed
Mid. He's killed top.
He's killed bottom.
He's really securing this early game for them so far here. And immediately walking toward mid lane. No hesitation. He's got both spells available when he has his stick. Do they have level 6 on no one? Not just yet. But he will already prepare the missile. And here comes Solo. No one is pretty low here though.
Somas has got a lot of HP to work with. With the drag back.
Nice Hex.
Iya, waktu itu gue mau nanya, tadi gue build itu belum lupa.
Shuriken Pike.
Si
Ame pakai PA anjir.
Whilst he's left alone and Solo's trying to help out mid.
Yeah, he was left alone for quite a while and was still doing pretty well in those last hits, so they dive forward and really make sure that they can push Pasha out of there.
Nih, dia ngulti.
As it looks like Somnus actually might hit level 6 before no one does in that mid lane. Has fully recovered. A couple last hits behind, but still doing just fine in that matchup. Arrow immediately onto that catapult, so that push.
Sometimes he didn't miss that one.
That time he didn't miss. Yeah, sometimes we see like the push come out with those catapults with the Power Blade.
Galak di awal ya, tapi VP itu ya. Tadi gue lihat. Kan lihat game-nya nih gue.
Wah anjing, nice. Swashbuckle won't quite kill him.
No javelin procs, but
he's hunting, and he's found him. It's going to be a kill for Pasha, making the plays
Galak sih di
with that
awal.
javelin picked
Tadi aja gimana Galak di awal.
Tapi kesana-sana blunder mereka tuh ya.
Nggak kompak aja, jadi tuh kompak banget
tadi aku lihat. Immediately by that VP bottom ward. So no one will probably play careful here. Also having a chainmail. No one's he's kind of tanky. That double right bent chainmail sitting at that 17 armor when he's standing next to the tower. Still playing a little bit safe as he did spot the move. And it looks like he's going to make his own move. As he picks up his boots from the courier, he's like, okay, I don't want to sit mid. I can probably set up a kill easily onto Ame up top. He is also spotted by a ward during this rotation though.
Solo can get this opening.
Mau dikasih jadi lagi kayaknya si Ame sih jadi banget sekarang.
No one with the eruption. They have the combo. FY's trying to turn it
over. Anjing, kena dong combo ininya.
That's the kill for PSG LTD.
Mau tutup arrow-nya.
The moves of VP. FY there with the backup to turn things in their favor, and they get that gyro out of the game.
He saw FY bottom pick up that haste rune. FY quickly just darts through the jungle. Now
he's looking for more.
They want Roger.
Ini si
be able to have a good shot at chasing this down.
Dep.
Roger
mau kemana?
has a TP, but
Messi,
F1's
anjing.
got that arrow. If Roger tries to play his way out of this, I don't think
ngikutin
there's
cara
any
mainnya
escape for the
si
ET.
They're cutting him off as
F1
well. X-Nova
tadi.
cuts off the other route, so Roger really trying to just play
Back in
around
the lane, there was the distractions there. Ame is left alone.
Distract
So
biar si
Roger's
Ame
kind of
mati.
happy with that. He says, I mean,
Supportnya ngejar dia kan.
you're spending a lot of time looking
space
for
tuh.
me, but your carries die.
Anjing
So if Roger
cara mainnya
dies,
si
it doesn't.
F1 tadi.
It's a good trade. VP's happy.
They look like they're going to get him, yeah, but like you said, a
Anjing.
very nice
Oh, mati.
play there as Pasha gets a whole... Pasha gets, what, 2?
He kills Ame.
Amenya mati
and he
tapi.
kills Ame?
That's going to be Arcane's done, so Pasha's strength in the lane now is very hard for Ame to farm against.
And it's also, it's not even just Ame, it's like the two supports are forced to spend, what, 30, 40 seconds chasing around that Elder Titan, which means, look at the Terrorblade. Ramsey's able to farm freely versus Chalice as well. That pressure being alleviated off the map. And they're going to start preparing those stacks.
There goes Somnus. He's got that 7, he's got a lot of damage. The Hex tries to throw off the combo, but it won't be the case. Still able to drag him back. Get that pick off. And to solo streak gives a little tasty bounty early on for Somnus. Overall, even net worth. All cores really finding some action. I guess the one difference being solo stepping a little further ahead.
Dapat Bray. Dapat asli dapat.
Biggest winner is definitely Pasha. A Pangolier having this great of a start in the game.
The
reason we don't see this hero pick too often, especially not in that 3-position role.
Oh, bisa apa-apa.
It's not a strong laner. Yeah, he's having an excellent time. Already Arcane Boots finished up after that Javelin. Fantastic timing for him. And you see Ame, he has to play a bit afraid up here until he gets rotation.
Anjing kenanya ke gua lagi.
No.
Mid lane, setups there, FY. Timing perfectly.
Easy kill.
Gotta be careful how you step up in the lane against this SD, as it's very likely that FY is hiding in the shadows to make the counterplay happen. Pasha playing around with the Rolling Thunder. He knows that all he needs is a swashbuckle to get out of that combo.
Very nicely done there. Just he knows that he's just watching the animation of the Kunkka, waiting to see if he thinks it's a boat, if he thinks it's a torrent, whichever one he believes he can save that Rolling Thunder.
Bray, gantian ward dulu, Bray ya.
But holds on to it. So Ame still has to play very careful up here. He's just gonna have to jungle a little bit, being pushed away from the lane. As Ramsey says, a Terrorblade, you're gonna be able to jungle at that much faster pace than a PA, as PA does not even have a steroid. None of them on her team can really amplify her, while TB just, your conjure image will always act as your own.
And it's going to be a long sort of time for the PA. Same to be said for Terrorblade, but maybe even longer so for the PA until she's active. She's going for the Battle Fury build this game, mid lane. Another setup into the arrow. They're making these combo plays happening. There's a lot of setup for FY to play with this game, and he's not missing arrows anymore.
They have like the two best heroes for setting up in the game, Kunkka as well as that Shadow Demon. OD might be the other one that you can argue for, but
Gue down, bukan mau bantu, sumpah demi apapun gue tahu tim gue.
Roll his way out. They're bringing back into the arrow. Perfectly executed. As they have the disable to make sure there's no way for him to roll away.
Playing Pango versus Kunkka can be a little difficult sometimes, right? Because you're charging up your Rolling Thunder, and he can actually just use the X to disrupt down as well, rather than just using the torrent.
Besok ya, kalau mau casting-castingan jangan sekarang bro.
Be able to set that one up, and then an arrow immediately to take out the catapult, but they won't be able to transition
Besok
into
newbie main
the mid lane. But bottom, looks like they do want to turn that into a push onto this tier 1 tower for PSG LGD.
LGD with their items, obviously they're all going for big things. Somnus also is the double brace Radiance build for Kunkka.
That's like the Kunkka build now, it seems. Yeah.
It just makes him so tanky and so hard to deal with in these fights.
Especially when he's playing versus a Terrorblade, right? You're playing versus an illusion-based hero, you want to go for that Radiance on the Kunkka.
Radiance on Kunkka, and as I say, the Battle Fury on PA, they will have ways to deal with Ramsey's army.
I think I feel like you have to almost go on PA, like Battlefield for PA. And he's like one of the few heroes, like Anti-Mage and PA feel like they probably just need to if they don't have their own type of steroid. If you don't have a Magnus, you don't have Bloodlust or somebody else that's just giving you that way to farm a lot faster.
You don't think sort of a Deso Rush is... It's just too risky nowadays, one bad fight and you're not coming back into a game?
I think versus a hero like Terrorblade is not worth it. Versus the other 4, sure, but TB has such high natural armor.
Get the pull back onto Roger. Let's throw the ult out. It's going to clip onto Somnus. Pasha's still trying to fight with the supports as they'll roll him onto X-Nova. But a dagger on Solo. Jump in. It's an easy kill for Ame. These fights now, they're trying to force them VP, but PSG, they just turn, they jump, they get these kills. Those early ganks from Solo just, they're miles away. This game has turned around. PSG LGD making the leading moves. And all three cores benefiting.
They need no one to be the one to making the moves around, but he's probably feeling a bit reluctant. After that move, he waits to move top and then just dies immediately, gets his game set back heavily. Probably doesn't want to be the one to make moves until he has that drum finish stuff. So for now, they're going to be a bit limited in their movement, while LGD, they're just cruising back and forth, looking for plays constantly with that Kunkka as well as that Mirana. And they're just constantly setting up, protecting Ame's jungle. The arrow. Not being thrown out here. Now it's going to get close. He's going to get hit.
Good juice to Solo, but still taking a lot of damage. Forward FY. He tries to come in, but the turn, the finger FY. Oh, FY. Why? I mean, he wanted it.
He did.
I mean, he got the finger. And that's a finger buff for Solo.
Overconfidence. Probably not expecting everybody else to be there, but still. Yeah, feeling himself there for sure. Probably, maybe not even getting the kill there. Solo's still pretty tanky with this, like Tranquil Boots as well as Bracer. Like, this is a line who's gotten a lot done in the early game, like you mentioned. He kind of is the 4th position already at this point for his team.
Nggak perlu mati lagi.
That being said, frontline for VP, a little bit concerned for them, right? You look at their heroes, and they're fairly squishy on their draft.
Yeah, it's what Pasha, as long as he gets the Rolling Thunder off, he can sort of be the man to go in.
But there are ways to kill him. You know, they have the PA, who's just straight physical damage, which Pangolier does not really like playing. So they don't really have that best frontline, because Roger has been relegated down to 5 positions. So their frontline is definitely lacking it versus what LGD has, who has the best frontliner. They have the Tide Hunter.
And a Tide Hunter covered in Kunkka's rum.
Absolutely.
Gelar apa ini?
And Kunkka Somnus, 3,300 gold on that relic. It's pretty much there. It's going to be a very fast timing from Somnus this game.
And a fast Battle Fury too. Ame already having 2 pieces. He's only like 1,600 gold away from that Battle Fury.
This is scary for VP. It may only be a 1k lead, but the fact that PSG LGD are getting this space for these 2 cores, that passing in here 2 minutes time, and they're turning up with the Battle Fury. Well, I mean, might choose to stick to just focus on farming for the next time after, but at least with Somnus coming to these fights with a Radiance, it's not going to be easy for VP to take the fights head on.
No, especially because Ramses is not going to be... Ramses turning up to the fights, there's a lot of control, there's a lot of magic damage for this Terrorblade to deal with. He's not going to be able to just walk in with his illusions doing anything possible, because there's Torrents, there's Cleaves, there's the Boat, there's the Starstorm, there's so many different instances of damage that can clear out those illusions very quickly. So Ramses' game is going to be tough. They really need to start rallying around the Gyrocopter, and that's what they're going to do. The drum is finished. They've got Maelstrom as well on Pasha. He's looking to see what he can make. I want to see Pasha switch this up, though. I think he should go for the mech build in this game. Instead of just... I mean, he has the Maelstrom already done, which is great damage, that magical mixed. But now he's queued up the Aghanims, and like we said, their front line is definitely lacking.
See smoke from both sides and the Moonlight as well from FY to try and set things up. Hunting for Ramses, Illusion in their jungle. They know that Ramses is likely to be nearby, but he's already headed over there, back to the half of the map. A Hex will be attempted. Down bottom, but a quick run away. FY with the Ace Rune already popped. Will manage to get himself away from that. So neither side finding much of a catch with these moves, just avoiding one another.
It's actually already going to be a full mech on FY as well. So we're talking about tankability of LGD with the hood, with a mech on your support Mirana. This is definitely going to cause problems for VP, who do not have anyone matching them.
They're not going to have the damage with that mech and the Kunkka's Rum in these fights.
And the front line too. They just won't have that there for themselves, so they're going to have to be playing a little bit of this farm game.
Yeah, Ramses needs a lot of time this game.
Yep.
Some of the Battle Fury build and the pace that PSG LGD themselves probably feel comfortable in playing, we are probably likely to see him get that time. It's just a question of how well does the rest of VP's lineup hold up against these fast timings of LGD.
PSG LGD, they're feeling good right now, right? They don't need to force anything. They're playing on their side of the map. They're the ones getting like this free farm. They're going to have the Battle Fury finished up. The Radiance going to be done on Kunkka too. Probably when they have Radiance, they're going to look to take the fights. But
that's the thing I feel. Once they have Radiance and Battle Fury, they can keep fighting, but they're not too fussed if a fight is forced, because of the fact that they can keep one another alive very easily. They have the sustain, and they've got the damage.
Yeah, Ame can just sit in the jungle and then you can, you know, typical carry contribution, show up at the end, couple daggers, jump in, clean some people up.
Wah, SD Mirana, Bim.
See that 55-45 Dota plus probability at the moment here. But definitely feeling for, he's looking at no one right now in the net worth. He's really starting to get left in the dust.
Aduh anjing.
TI banget orang
He's that
tadi
hero they have to rally around. He has BKB, but that's going to take time. He's going to have to act as that pseudo frontliner as this gyrocopter versus a PA, which is definitely scary.
Now, even without the BKB, there's so many ways that PSG could keep that PA alive. To the point that this Gyro's damage combo shouldn't really be an issue unless there's some sort of way that VP can get to the back lines. Obviously, a good Echo Stomp might be what does it. If he can catch out the supports, catch out X-Nova, and stop those save plays coming in.
Yeah, it's like we're saying, like we're talking about how like, VP the lack of the front line, but they do still pack a punch. They do have a lot of damage if they can keep them controlled for them not to get the rum off, not get the mech off. Very unlikely for that to happen, as this is a very farmed Kunkka who now has the Radiance finished up at the 17-minute mark. 17:38 as he picks it up.
A very, very respectful timing.
And now they're starting to rally. You see Ame, he's kind of starting to make his way down toward bottom, but just going to be farming, probably stanking Ancients before he does do anything else. I mean, yeah, he just needs to farm.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And they're showing themselves down bottom PSG, but VP, what's the plan there? Just focusing on pushing out that mid, pushing out that top lane. Not looking to come down for now, and in fact, it's going to be PSG wrapping around, maybe even towards the mid. Who's there at the moment? It's just the Elder Titan.
Yep.
I'll just come in and try and hold these illusions off the tier 1, keep their tower alive for now.
Right now, it's not the most natural for them to set up for plays. Like we saw in the last game when they played with the Tidehunter, they weren't able to just like walk in and take the fights. Maybe with the Invis, they can actually look to set up like that. But with the Blink Dagger, with the Tidehunter, when he's able to get down, that's when they're really going to start just running at VP, just looking to bring every single fight to them. So right now, like we said, a little bit awkward, a little bit of low period. Both teams just continue to try to maximize the farm on the map. Yeah, Ame, Battle Fury finished. Desolator next is going to be the one that's queued up, and then more than likely going to be that BKB that he does need.
It really does just feel like the power, sort of the growth of the heroes on LGD's lineup. It's sort of ahead, and it moves at a similar pace.
Top, look at this wraparound. Solo is hiding.
Ame's pretty deep. They've got the disable, and if they got the burst, they should have him here. And they do. VP, they're able to punish a greedy Ame who pushes out alone and doesn't expect VP to still be hanging around, and that's a big pick-off for him.
Solo really putting the team on his back right now in these first, with all these rotations really from himself. He was just hiding in the tree line there, waiting for somebody to step too far forward. Very nicely set up there by VP as they're able to slow down Ame, slow down that farm, allow Ramses to get better timings than him. He's got the man to the Scotties. He's getting farmed.
Apa?
Tak tidur dulu.
Lu tidur.
Aduh anjing.
Oke, gue juga ikutan. Masih muda.
Oh, mati lampu tidur.
Anjing masih bisa ngomong di Discord gitu.
Aduh, ini mengantuk.
Bounty runes. Looks like it's gonna be 2 for 2.
Udah tidur lah, besok lagi lah.
X-Nova really pushes forward. X-Nova will. Just walks up onto the high ground casually.
Terakhir.
And it still is going to be the full active, so they're going to rely a lot on Pasha for damage, it looks like, and then he's queuing up the mech afterwards. So, like we were saying, he still needs to act as that frontliner as the Pangolier. He needs armor.
Anjing stack MP3 gitu.
Do you think for VP they feel like there is any sense of urgency, or do you feel that they're saying, well, we've got the Ramses Terror?
Mendingan 1000-in apa Arcana 2
Like we have Ramses Terror Blade, we have a Gyrocopter also.
Mending 1000 biar dapat Aegis ntar simpen di studio gue.
Aduh anjing, tetep nih. Especially when you're playing versus PA, one of the higher.
Itu semua taruh mana?
If you are able to actually get next to him as an ET, the damage will definitely be there. But that evasion always is going to be a bit of a frustration for the Terror Blade.
Arcana 2 deh.
Arcana itu bisa dibeli lagi.
Aegis tuh cuma setahun sekali.
Yoi.
Ke-trigger nih.
Jadi mending Aegis taruh studio Brian dulu.
Happy with the farming approach to this one.
They're all getting good pacing. They're all getting good timings of their items, right? Like Somnus is getting close to BKB. They got Blink on Chalice. He continues farming. Deso now finished up.
Arcana mah ada terus di store, nggak bakal ganti-ganti. Ya gue harganya segitu-gitu aja.
We don't have the greatest initiations with that. They will. Well, like I said, they're
ngaruh $39 apa 24 sih?
We see them grouping up, and this is likely that smoke with the Deso. with that blink.
I mean, Deso PA, you find yourself on top of Solo after he's dropped out a Hex and a stun. He's dead in a couple of hits.
You get yourself 1 or 2 kills, you can just go straight into the Roche pit, and then you're going to be playing with an Aegis advantage, and the map is going to get smaller and smaller. So let's see if they can actually catch anyone on me. Jump forward. Roger. Is that no crits? He just died for like the regular attacks there, it seems.
I believe so. Just the damage of the Deso. It's terrifying. VP, they've got to hold themselves in the base. It's PSG, they're waiting right outside.
Ramses!
He's stepped forward.
Anjing, kena.
But the demonic purge is down there. Trying to get on top of the Chalice. He's in with the Ravage. And Ravage is dead.
Wah, anjing itu gimana sih main lu? Orang main mulu apa gimana sih?
Anjing jago yang nge-casting.
Now that they've started to look for them, PSG, they just did a power level
Matanya ya, bro.
13-7 tapi udah sampai tower 2.
They are going to have the ult coming down, but a jump over from Army will dodge it. Another X-Marks there. No one's going to be dragged back towards the team as they take out the Gyro. They take everything here from VP, pushing down. He's not even done looking for a crit point.
Kalah lagi networknya anjir. Looking from the triple baca pada corner. Cep. Baca anjir Bray. Si Pasa garim dulu ya dia. Wah anjing. Soalnya Radi. Oh dia langsung Radi.
Tapi lu bener-bener tahu gak sih sebenarnya itu awalnya gimana, Bray?
Buset. Cing bisa gitu anjing. Memprioritaskan carry anjir.
Awalnya gimana?
Aku nggak tahu.
Itu TI 8 yang pas pakai X lu harus nonton deh.
Kan gue udah ngikutin dari TI 7.
Nggak, nonton yang ininya aja yang OG Amet.
Nggak mau mas. Itu
keren banget X-nya bro.
All that extra damage and control. And we saw Gyrocopter beat like no one. He walked in, he pops his flag, he hits like everybody with the full flag cooldown. A mech gets popped from the Mirana.
It really is at this point. All the damage just heal back up with that mech.
Yep. And now they're starting. Now they've the creeps finished up too. They're starting to get BKBs as well on Somnus. And you're gonna imagine Ame will also be approaching that one quite soon. VP, they've got to make something big happen here with this smoke versus that Ravage being on cooldown.
Iya, kok parah ini.
Will they be able to?
So there's a wet.
20 seconds until Ravage is back online. VP
Not
looking like they're going to be able to actually find anything here. Wallet is not up.
Angel of Death banget.
So LGD, PSG will back up. They will be perfectly fine with all of this as the next timing for them is that BKB on Ame, so they're going to keep controlling the map. And we see that base ward placed down. They feel so confident to do whatever they please.
They know they can move in immediately. And Ramsey's not getting the chance to hit a single hero in that fight. And there's you say, flat cannon, it doesn't even look like they've been hit.
Ini kejepit nih.
It's the combo of the both. We mentioned it during like the draft, right at the end of it there. That Kunkka versus the Gyrocopter too. The ROM was applied on absolutely everybody. So sure, Pango's coming in, he's shield crashing, swashbuckling all over the place, but that mitigation really coming in.
And when Ame has the BKB, they're not going to be able to touch him.
Really does feel like that.
He's level 20, BKB. I mean, he's got the money for it. He's got it done.
He can TP back and pick it up if they want to play it like
that.
Like,
gue bete banget kalau di pala gue tuh udah ada.
He's gonna back up. It looks like here.
They've even got the Vlads on Chalice, allowing him to get that life steal on the PA.
Panik gue.
Everything is coming together for
kocokan alkemis nih.
What do they do?
Panik banget anjing.
What do they do?
They look like they're smoked up looking for a fight, but it's still difficult. Ramsey's like, he's got Manta, he's got Scotty, he's tanky, but as we saw in that last fight, there's just a devastating amount of control. And even if he is tanky like this, you still have to deal with Soul Catcher. You have Manta to remove it, but if you don't have your Manta up and you're a Soul Catcher, you are going to be a lot squishier as they get a wrap around.
Try and have a bit of a poke. So heading the way of Chalice, but immediate disengagement from Moonlight Shadow. They'll be able to find X-Nova with the combo. But everybody else should get out. FY is still with that Moonlight Shadow coverage to allow him to walk back to safety, and it can never feel good killing X-Nova, because then you know as VP that everything's going to plan for LGD. If it's only the Shadow Demon you've killed, you've lost the fight.
Every single time, it does seem even every single time.
Apa ya masih efek
all of the situations.
Battle
It's just
Fury.
down to positioning, right? They always have the right person in place to die,
and they know how to in that fight too. That's a bit of a difficult one. They're like, hey, we're strong, but that type of fight engaging in that area, we're kind of surrounded. It's not the best way for us to take it. Now they're getting a better type of surround here as VP. They're split up. Ame is already prowling around with this blur, and Roger, he spotted.
Kok panahnya bagus.
He's gonna be a quick and easy one for them.
Berdoa amat Bim.
Kok bagus later. Ame can make quick work of whoever he finds.
And there's that situation we talked about. If they get one of those big kills,
Dapat lagi
they can
Rosannya
commit
tuh.
into this Roche pit as they will kill it.
Super tendang
fast.
VP nih ke
Taking the
bawah.
fight around here for VP, sure. They've got Pango, but their ET is dead. He is the crucial one around that Roche pit.
Bagus.
LGD, they're really
Itu si
running away with this one now.
Roger ATM banget dah.
Repeat of game 1.
Berapa kali mati
Once
dia?
they get the advantage, they do not let go of it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is very similar to the last one, right? They've killed Ame once, but before they've really only killed X-Nova again. As Ramses really needs that BKB timing for him is going to be completely necessary, but is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to do the damage? Very similar to that last time. Sure, he's got ways to protect himself, but will they be able to kill
Baru
anybody
nyadar
on the
dari
side of
dulu
PSG?
teror banget
You
makanya.
see some, interesting little bit of innovative
Maininnya
pick up
capek.
Ame. He hasn't chosen to finish it yet.
Gue mainin
But as we see
Pitlor.
that Ags is queued up, the refresh. You get a kill, refreshes all your abilities,
Aku ingin tele kemanapun. Taksi online.
Down as well.
Yep.
And Blur now, it dispels.
That is true.
It's a buff for everything. Mid lane.
Madu.
Oh anjing gua
Ibu dong anjir.
Finger saja mengeluarkan serigala. Oh.
Sepak bola Tarkam aja.
Nggak, tapi lu pernah ngeliat nggak sih caster Dota? Pasti begitu rata-rata ngomongnya.
Iya.
Nggak sebagus yang orang Inggris gitu loh, aneh. Iya bener.
Dispelling the reflection, dispelling the disarm from the Pango. Animate's pretty neat.
Serigala-serigalanya apa ikan anjing. Kayaknya serigala ternyata hiu anjing. Anjing jauh mangap.
But I know even that, right? You're just gone.
I mean, that's I'm really intrigued.
Berenang sama enggak.
Memang tidak semudah itu Pak Bambang.
Good timing as well.
Oh nice. Arrow. Tidak ada arrow.
He's gonna force the BKB.
That will keep him safe
Sinoan
for
nyala
a little
BKB-nya.
bit. He is. They're just gonna have to TP.
Wow. Anjing BKB TP cupu anjing.
BKB balik. To fight through that
Just no
BKB.
chill anjir.
Yeah, no one with these BKB usages, he's just not able to get much done at all. It's having to be a BKB and a runaway. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the items. He doesn't have the damage. There's not a lot that he can offer to the team fight.
Anjing PH-nya najis itu.
PH banget ya.
More items being picked up. LGD, they're picking up all these.
Palanya sih bawa Olimpiade.
Not only to remove the reflection, but like you said, the Sunder. I don't know. Do we know if that interaction was fixed as well with the
Lihat di in-game nggak sih, Bim?
How it's intended to
Well,
be honest.
how
Enggak.
it works, you know,
Di tweet.
you can
Streaming.
still Lotus Orbit
Nah,
through
di
the
in-game
BKB
itu
Sunder,
lihat
so
di
they have to watch out for that.
profilnya PA-nya.
We'll find if it was.
Pasti isinya full ya.
Iya.
Yes, that's correct.
Aduh anjing nggak mau.
Tweet, set. Battle Fury clip
For the
damage.
people who don't know, of course, if you are BKB'd on Terrorblade and you Sunder
Anjing
Lotus
dulu
Orb,
mah sampai
you
ngejar
still
game
not
ya,
get
aku
your
baru
HP
inget
back.
anjing.
HP saying the same. At least that was how it was indeed in the group stages.
In the group stage.
Anjing Titan Hunter anjing riak.
They're scared.
Ayo lu Jairo.
Hiu ini nih.
Ya.
Serigala.
Nah, tuh hiu tuh anjing.
Tuh serigalanya tuh.
Anjir itu si
Pipi 1 detik. Let's go. Oh nice. Mati lagi si Roger sama si Ame. Awas jangan ngalah. Cing, kesel banget gua. Sekelas pro player masih bisa kayak gitu anjing. Iya panik. Atupi gimana? Anjir. Roger melakukan panik di depan Julia.
Roger Danuarta, Bu.
Masih bisa cetak gitu.
As he plays it safe too, right? Some situations you're like, hey, I'm gonna die.
Anjing pas ungu main Dota.
Dan demi waktu.
Les ya. Jangan dideketin lagi, atuh Solo pulang. Udah mati.
Ya.
Jenny.
Iname goes and a finishing blow.
Lo, buset.
Kuria.
Oh.
Itu anjing Kuria.
In LGD's favor.
Ini black
82% win rate now for them as they're just keeping the map dominance.
Ramsey's farm, he's still on par with Ame.
But what does it amount to?
Can this Terrorblade do?
VP goodbye UN udah bener ini.
The Angel of Death maju.
Nice little play there by Maybe. Turns off the Radiance before the Reflection as it does come out, so it doesn't even burn his teammates at all. Small little things.
Enak sih, habis nge-kill cepet lagi dia nge-blink gitu.
Itu bayangannya ditutup lagi aja lebih sakit ya.
Kan daggernya ada banyak ya jadinya.
Kalau nge-kill ability-nya refresh itu.
Oh, anjing.
Apa PA?
Iya, kalau Aghanim.
Oh iya benar.
They might not fully back up here. If they see this top rune, they might look for a quick re-engagement.
Oh, that double damage.
Gue udah sakit banget PA ini double damage dia.
They're trying to keep VP suffocated in their base. Maybe
perih guys.
Dikasih PA
Get back to the base, VP. Get back to the fountain.
Perih parah.
Come out.
They have to find more ways to keep farming though. VP, they have to struggle to get outside to get this. I mean, in particular, the MKB on Ramsey. He can't actually do any damage inside of the fights versus Ame until he gets that. And even then, it's still seeming so difficult for them versus PSG, LGD, as they're all rallied. Everyone just rallied together, not giving any opportunities for VP to even get a pick off.
Tendang nih mah kalau bracket anjir.
Pasha, has to be very careful how he does those type of plays.
Instant poke and the Moonlight from LGD. They're starting to build up the money again on Ame. Obviously, with just holding that DD rune, he does still have a good slot to fill.
Probably likely to be the Abyssal. Maybe he's thinking, wait till I see what Ramses is building if I need to actually go for an MKB or something like that on myself as a PA. But the Abyssal is the more than likely one for that BKB Pierce.
What about the Nullifier?
His Nullifier could also have its argument, yeah. That's a good one. There's a lot of different varieties that he can go for.
Yeah.
As now VP, they've got this timing. So let's see if they can make anything happen of it with this MKB, as they will have some damage at least to go through the PA. But they don't have smokes. I don't believe they have any available.
Mau blator dong si Somnus.
He's the moment he's queued up. He's gonna go there where the Bloodthorn.
Enak nih nyontek buildnya si Somnus tuh. Mukanya.
Building up on that Sven in the last game versus a Morphling. This game it's not as clear cut. He's not playing versus like a Morph, but still very good versus the Terrorblade, as he can also build versus a Butterfly, and this is the way that kind of counteract both the Sunder as well as that evasion that will come out.
Dagger, Aghanim.
Forward, those illusions quick.
It just really feels in both of these games, VP
orang mah nggak dikasih
they're
aja
unable to
farming.
make any sort of moves themselves in the second half of them. As this game, goes on 35 minutes in, it's just been pretty much nothing from VP offensively. They're just trying to get their farm to a point where they can have a chance of defending their base.
But their base is getting chunked out already. Losing another tier 3. It's PSG LGD. They'll just continue. They're going to do the X. Quickly bring him back. Some tower damage as well. Arrow to scout.
How would you start this fight if you're VP?
They don't have the natural forms of initiation. Pasha wants to, but like we said, he hasn't built any armor, and he now has the Vlads at least finished up.
Kena dong anjing. Goblok itu si FY. Meleng anjing itu si siapa namanya? Si Ramses. Meleng anjing.
Ngapain dia bengong di situ?
Duk aja.
Ngelek kali.
Tahu anjing.
Happy sih gua ngelek nih.
The drafting panel was concerned.
Buset, kaget gua anjir. Anjing itu jelek banget anjing, kalahnya sumpah dah.
Makanya.
He spent the whole game farming and he gets hit by
banget
one
anjing kalahnya anjing.
And all that fight was for nothing.
Anjing bye-bye upper bracket.
He's arrowed and he's brought down.
Anjing menurut banget kalahnya Datai. Bye-bye Pango. Goodbye UN.
He does no damage.
And there comes
no damage.
Anjing bye-bye to die back.
As LGD, they have really come into this.
Kalahnya gara-gara si Masa Smeleng anjing.
Of all guns blazing. Solo will jump in.
LGD. Oh, gue dengernya Navi.
With the splitter, they do kill off the Kunkka. They get one. They need so much more.
Oh, kata Terror Blade buktikan.
They will manage to
ayo Ramses.
but they're
Dipur anjing itu Bray lihat si goblok. Sengaja kan orang Rusia mah gitu.
Only that range racks in the top lane.
Biar menarik pertandingan ini teh.
Such a big deficit, and how much gold did they all just pick up there on the side of LGD? Like everybody's finishing up their next item.
He's ready for a bit of fun.
He's got the
He knows that this is in the bag.
So he heard our suggestions. He queued up the Bloodthorn. He's like, no. Maybe he's still
Rapier. He's about to hit 25 as well, so he can get that triple dagger. Triple dagger with Rapier. He's doing this one for the fans.
I have seen somebody else take the 10%, but putting this in the triple dagger.
Tuh, mereka tuh masih berani rosan sih ya yang aing heran tuh. Kenapa ya? Si anjing. Yang MVP Magelo. Anjing masih berani. Kena lagi. Allah. Derek menyanyiakan itu teh. Aman. Comeback kan nih? Penasaran gue nih. Ayo tes, Ramses. Tuh Roger. Tasieun. Cicing. Aduh. Naon sih diganti-ganti anjing. Double kill sih Ramses sih.
VP had to buy back on both supports for this, but
anjing,
they're fighting
gue anjing.
not to be held down, and you can see even Ame's not invested in the Rapier because he's like, are we fine? He's saving onto his money for now. He might resort to the safe play and just go, another fire and have buyback. We'll see how scared he is.
Maybe,
but
we'll see. He's still feeling pretty confident.
They kick back.
They got the Aegis.
They kick back.
They got that Aegis and cheese. Very important for themselves here. But that, structural damage is still done, and that's why Chalice is dead. That's the big thing, right? Fighting into LGD's lineup when they don't have the time, a little bit easier. Especially because they can get them with the numbers.
Kalau gue masih Icebear ya, bukan pakai yang panda.
But back to farming a little bit here for
Is Ame gonna do it? He's saving on some money. There's not really too much point. I guess he's so still worth it, even if he loses a Rapier. Now he's going in. He's going in. He's got the Rapier.
He's got buyback available.
This is exciting.
Rapier gila. Ame Rapier seluruh. Knowing gaming gila. Ame Rapier.
YOLO ini udah.
Ini penasaran gue nih. Ini sampai bucat kritikalnya serat anjing abis langsung itu bayangan TB.
You never know.
Or in the hands of Ramses too. Either one of them.
Never know. But at the same time,
biar sengaja biar kalah biar sampai BO3.
There'll be more than enough time for him to jump from target
Entertain gaming ini mah udah diatur sama Geben.
25 PA with the triple daggers.
Durasi gitu Geben.
He's just going to be cleaning up the entire squad.
Man, if he gets us an insta kill, like 6 daggers pretty much, right? The first kill, he'll throw another set of daggers immediately.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
If he gets a kill off a dagger, he'll be able to throw out another triple dagger right away.
Another.
If he gets a couple chain kills, yep.
Naik gak nih mereka nih? Naik HG gak nih mereka nih?
So 4.2 second cooldown on dagger.
Hey, Korea. That's got an Eagle song on.
Whoop. Oh, that's looking pretty dead.
Kori. Trap. Anjing, Eagle Song. Eagle Songnya siapa itu? TB.
Buyback either. He has the Aegis for himself. He does die twice. No buyback.
Aduh, please, tes, pulang tes.
How tanky is? You saw him just get hit by a dagger from a PA.
Dede di bawah.
Obviously wasn't a crit. Doesn't hurt him that much. He's got a lot of armor.
There's a lot of negative armor though. I see that the Solar Crush, they even take the Gush talent as well, I believe. Oh no, he didn't. That was the last game, sorry. He didn't take the Gush talent this time, but still with Solar Crush as well as that Desolator, still a lot of magic or physical armor reduction to pierce through. But yeah, 37 armor on TB. And it looks like PSG LGD still playing a little bit safe here, even though, I say safe, a little bit safe on the fact that the Aegis and the Cheese are on BS. As Adirirun
Dede, lihat nih.
Having passed that
LGD
40-minute
ngeliat
mark, we're gonna be
Dede.
seeing DD's a play.
Udah. Oh anjing sakit banget ini. Sakit banget anjing ini, yakin gua.
Anjing bulat berak bulatnya.
2600 right now.
Times that by 2.
Ini sekali ngecrot berapa ya anjing?
Not how that works. Not good because I wasn't
Ditahan dulu lagi di botol.
That's without the Deso put in as well. So it's 2600. He puts the Deso in. He's probably going to be critting with the DD rune over 3000.
Oke, VP masuk nih. Anjing nggak tahu apa
physical
mereka punya Dede ya.
The higher physical is going to be a lot more reduced.
Ya begitulah anjing.
We'll see some big numbers.
Full Bloodthorn on Sona, so we're going to see even more big numbers.
Yeah.
Crits upon crits, Solo.
Nah, dipancing tuh. Solo masuk. Oh, ayo dipancing tuh. Iya, mana Pasa ngapain Pasa? Pasa ngapain Pasa? Ramsas buru demonnya. Oke. Dede di apa itu siapa ya anjing? Kok mau sakit banget?
Allahu Akbar.
Oh.
Anjing pakai cheese anjing.
Aduh. Ya pulang udah Ramses. Udah gak ada teman lagi anjing, ngemukulin Tel Hunter anjing, kedel anjing. Susah. GG udah kalah nih. Bangsat keluarga itu.
Gimana?
3446. Gila anjing itu PA. Goblok. Nggak tahu kayaknya mereka si Ame Dede mereka.
Just proving to be such a problem for VP. Even though they were able to get their farm out throughout the game.
Ya nggak apa-apa, yang penting udah di TI. Yo dewasa. Ayo bisa lawan mereka bisa.
Salaman yuk.
Ayo salaman dulu yuk, biar nggak selek yuk.
Any sort of momentum. And here on the main stage, those sort of problems, they still lie with the team.
Just hitting a bit
of a brick wall
of LGD with this draft.
Oh, ini jaketnya keren dah yang baru.
Just working out perfectly for them.
Keren banget ini.
They're hungry to find what they felt was theirs last year. PSG LGD is this opening series. They make it look easy enough. Off they go walking away without
17 warnanya apaan? 18. 11 warna hijau gitu. Hijau apa ya warnanya? Hijau ya. Ini kan
balik lagi ke Regen.
Enggak, bukan hijau gitu.
Congratulations to PSG LGD. They have done exactly what they did 12 months ago at the International 2019 against exactly the same opponent in the quarterfinals.
Ini tuh warnanya rune apa ya?
Jets, I have to say that.
Arken. Oh, ini Arken ya?
Oh
ya, ini Arken rune.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you write easy peasy. In the end, then you just walk
easy peasy lemon squeezy diperes jadi peasy.
Really good. The early game was
anjing
on
nonton
point.
216.000 lu ngapain gabut?
Set up the Arrow, Shadow Demon, and Kanka with the X mark. Kills with those two, and man, Ame.
Oh, yang tahun lalu Invis ya. Tahun lalu Invis.
You said it.
Getting that data.
I mean, we should explain to some of the new reviews.
Oh, yang tahun ini Invis.
Because he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to buy the rapier, and the problem with the rapier, for those who don't know, is it
yang tahun lalu apa ya runnya?
Fall into enemy hands, which could have turned the game.
And not just that, it is like one of the best items on Gyrocopter, which is the hero that they're playing against. So you give that one away, all of a sudden this like for sure win turns into, you know, Virtus Pro walking out the
tahun lalu perasaan Bounty deh. Bounty kayaknya 2 tahun lalu deh.
I think we should just make this a standard build.
15.
Every single time.
Oh, yang tahun lalu bener Bray, Regen.
Fun, get a little bit of survivability and just
Regen.
Balik lagi ke T3 ya.
Oh, T3 juga Regen.
To go out there and risk it like that shows oh man, I love it.
And you're not worried about anything.
No, you don't play to win. That's the biggest thing. You don't play not to lose.
Usually you don't go for Rapier when you're one Raxus from Mega Creeps. There's always a better item choice, but we gotta give credit to the Madman.
Absolutely.
Nanti ada rune
You wanted to go heavy on that. We should also bring in our draft panel.
Hidup mati lagi.
Check in with the 3 gents who are on the panel.
Baru hidup
What
langsung
did you guys
mati.
make of that? I mean, fun game, right?
Enggak.
Yeah, it was a fun game. I actually don't think the Rapier was that jokey. I think that's like a legit strat with the Ags. Because the way that Blur works, it's like if an enemy hero gets close to you, you're visible. But if you stay far away and Blur is on 100% cooldown base, you're pretty much always invisible to the enemy team unless they happen to get close to you and find you. So his whole goal was to like stay permanently invis, buy Rapier, have triple daggers, and just throw daggers until he finally gets kills, and then he can commit with BKB. It was actually a cool strat abuse that I haven't seen before.
I just feel bad. Our Zeke was over 100% confident.
Yeah,
in
but then you overflow.
Lebih mah tidur ah.
So if you overflow,
so if you're over 100%, maybe there's like.
Ngobrol yuk, biar sehat.
Oh man, why did we pick terribly?
The float number.
Nah, istirahat 2 jam cukup.
Virtus Pro will now be knocked down to the lower brackets.
Again.
Ya.
Same point. I think that's the sad part about it. And they looked a bit lost, didn't they, Jens? I see Solo come off kind of like.
Guys, saya mau istirahat dulu. Kalian nonton di Twitch aja dulu. Ini berikutnya apa sih nih? Gue lupa lagi kemarin tuh.
Like 4 days before.
That's
I
true.
feel like every time I passed by him in between games, it was just Solo with that blank stare.
And to think about it, like going back to the group stage and what they were doing, they lost to Vici Gaming, Lesh Rubik, then they started
TNC ya main ya?
They ended up losing to Elder Titan Gyrocopter, then they started picking
TNC lawan
Elder
Vici.
Titan Gyrocopter. It's always feeling like they're trying to find that next thing, and you know, they're teams that are really good at adapting. But
isn't that the case though?
Group stage. Oh, ini main event.
Yeah. Well, that works really well. Again, we'll use
Ya,
that.
Vici TNC udah tuh ngabisin bracket bawah. Bener nih kayaknya Lions ketemu VP dah. Kalau menang ya tuh gue lawan Royal Never Give Up.
Not see that Lacoste now.
You could see on
Lola.
Ramsey's face.
Saya tidur dulu teman-teman. Mau record Dota Trofei Caravan nanti.
I don't have a buyback.
Jadi
5 racks.
Terus siapin tenaga dulu nih buat giveaway lagi.
You're also having a TB with no save whatsoever. So that's kind of a big
lagi
deal.
nanti ya.
Have TB
Anonim kayaknya streaming tuh.
Demon,
Besok gue nge-cash dah ya. Dadah.